Overwatch Apex Season 3, energized by Hot 6, quarterfinal. Today's matchup, CONBOX Spirit, Lunatic-Hai.
This is it, Lunatic-Hai fans. They may be eliminated tonight. One best of 5 stands between them and facing off against Luxury Watch Blue, a Giannis-less Luxury Watch Blue at that. Tonight's match is so important for Lunatic-Hai. If they can't beat CONBOX Spirit, a team that's struggled throughout the season, definitely one of the weaker teams like X6, everyone was saying, going into the quarterfinals, you know, they lose here and they're out. It's all over. And Guido, I think, is really going to have to step it up this evening.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is going to be the most important game because you expect the LW Blue, given that Giannis is likely to still be in the hospital because of that collapsed lung, that'll be almost a free buy for whichever team can win this right here. Go over LW Blue because Luna not looking that impressive on the Winston. So you want to be able to win this so you have an easier match to just guide you into that semifinal.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, we're going to take a look at CONBOX Spirit.
OVERWATCH.
자, 반격 나서입니다. 급식겐지의 뭔가 신기원을 다시 한번 이룩하니까
Architect.
몰라요.
감수. Asher.
서로 대지문세가 들어가면서 넘어졌고
하나씩 다시 뽑았고요.
슬래프메어 선수에게 계속 벙머리 막히고 있어요.
네.
앞에 쟁탈도 그렇고 그렇죠.
이번에도 배제왕 이후에 차포까지
Sleepy Bear.
이걸로 계속 또 나가지.
야 이거 한타
Twilight. CONBOX Spirit.
You know, Toby mentioned in that interview that I don't really recall much about CONBOX Spirit, but I do remember Sombra. So that's going to be the big one that we look forward to from Twilight. I mean, that highlight reel there was one of the ones that really popularized that here in Korea during the promotion tournament, during the Super Week on Oasis, and then it just starts spilling in onto pretty much every other map.
Yeah, I mean, what was once the unique flower of Twilight is now everyone's playing it. If you're not able to play it, you're not making it far in this current meta. So Twilight's known for his EMP usage. His positioning is really good. His translocator's really awesome, but it's no longer an extra tool or some sort of sneak tactic that this team has to use against Lunatic-Hai, since it's no longer unique to this team.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I do want to shout out the likes of Meta Athena from Season 2 who did start using the Sombra. There was, you know, smatterings of it throughout that tournament, but we never saw it used the way that it is now, which is just flank, you know, jump in and out, build up the EMP, drop it on top of everybody. He was usually trying to get an entry hack onto somebody like the Reinhardt so he couldn't use his shield, and then you just start destroying everybody around him. So it changed up a little bit. So credit to Twilight. Let's go ahead and meet his opponents in Lunatic-Hai.
이제 위기에 몰렸습니다. 루나틱하이.
좀처럼 삼기는 통하지 않는다 생각이 들다 보니까 다시 공격 하나 잡고 잡혔고요.
기도 2대1 교환의 상태에서 조금 더 킬이 안 나오고 있거든요. 아직까지는
Guido.
빼게 만들어지거든요. 근데 오히려 반대로
자, 그런데 이정희
초월을 사용했는데 일이 끊기는 건 아쉬운 상황이고요.
자, 위쪽까지 자, 계속 보고 있어요.
이 선수 잘 쏘거든요. 아나를 괜히 잘하는 게 아니기 때문에
류재홍.
어그로 너무 잘 끌어줬네요. 위로 스위스 다 버텼어요.
아, 미로가 또 이렇게
Miro.
원시분이 있기 때문에 그렇죠. 뒤에서 와, 라카 옆에 다 같이 죽었어요. 에스카
3점이 보이는데요. 3점 보이는데요. 다시.
오, 에스카 게임.
Eska.
조금 전진. 그렇게 혼자서 얼마를 미는 거예요? 와, 마지막까지.
루시오 왠지 내쫓아내고요. 나부터.
Toby.
계속 쫓아온다. 자, 근데
생체 소리 다 나는 것들도 한번 같이 나와줘야 되는 거고요.
공격자 테크니크에 호비. 자, 친구가 둘.
존맛에.
네, 계속은 안 되겠다. 이제 브레이크 한 번 걸 때가 됐다.
Zumba. Lunatic-Hai.
There you have it, Lunatic-Hai, the massive fan favorites. I swear, even people sitting on the CONBOX side, those who were cheering for CONBOX earlier, or even cheering in this situation, is just the biggest esports organization for Overwatch in Korea right now. By a million miles, not even twice as much as the next runner-up, not even 4 times as much. They're just way the fan favorites. But fans wanted them to go to the finals. They wanted them to continue the legacy. Lunatic-Hai is a team that's been so consistent. Several World Cup nominees. They went all the way to the finals of Gyeonggi. They went all the way to the finals of APAC in China. Had a decent performance in Season 1, but it was Season 2 where they actually went all the way, won that Grand Finals, had not a reverse sweep, but nearly a reverse sweep against Runaway there. This team has earned its name, it's earned its reputation, but so far, with who are you missing from the roster, they just don't look as powerful.
No, they definitely don't. But they need that turnaround, as we've been touting. Guido needs to have a performance, but also Eska. We keep talking about Guido and how, because he's the new one, getting rid of those land jitters, getting used to playing in front of a crowd that is screaming at you at such a high volume. That's a big adjustment to make, but Eska as well needs to find his consistency, something that we saw some decency from in that set against Kongju Panthera. Kind of started turning things on, started actually performing and carrying the squad, but it wasn't enough because he still had those moments where he faltered.
Tripping on the pulse bomb on Hollywood, things like that, they still happen from time to time. If you could just remove those moments, definitely could be good for them. We're going to Ilios for our control map here for the second best of 5, and it's going to be what sets the pace for these two teams. We'll see if CONBOX Spirit can show that Winston play they're so famous for. Both Miro and Gamsu very well known for their Winston play. The dive is going to be important. Well, much on the line.
One more so than the other, so I got to give it to Miro, but we'll see what happens.
Here we go, guys. Game number 1 on Ilios.
I get it.
It was pretty close. I think CONBOX might have actually won that one.
Do you?
As always, the ear-piercing, I was going to say screams, but we'll say cheers from the Lunatic-Hai fans.
I mean, you could scream while cheering. It's
That's
fine.
true. They're just very passionate.
They're very passionate, very loud, and this is the kind of energy that Lunatic-Hai has had behind them ever since their really impressive run in APAC, their success, of course, in Gyeonggi. But this team is really solid. If they could pull it together here with the fans behind them, would continue their run and have the Luxury Watch Blue match coming up. Guido is going to be on the Tracer this time, as Eska's on his more normal Soldier for the map here. And Architect is going to be the Genji player for CONBOX Spirit, of course, with Asher on the Tracer. So standard dive, basically exactly what you would expect from CONBOX Spirit.
Gamsu's just pushing right in here. Look at that ult percentage coming up as he just saps multiple members of Lunatic-Hai, building up towards that. Primal Rage very swiftly. Point unlocks. Cap initially being taken here by Lunatic-Hai with very little contest. They might actually just find this one. Eska getting jumped on, drops down the Biotic Field to keep himself alive as Gamsu's just trying to disrupt in the back line. Gamsu around the back, but might have bitten off more than he can chew. He will go down.
Almost had the Primal Rage there, so he built that ult much faster than Miro, but pays for it with his life. And CONBOX Spirit will, of course, pay for this with the first cap going down to Lunatic-Hai. So first cap's obviously so important, even if you have the ult advantage temporarily. There's so many different tools you can use to buy time to secure the point. build up a larger ult economy to take it. So nice start here for Lunatic-Hai. Gamsu, we've seen him on this map many times with Ana, actually. Twilight on the Ana to actually use that nano boost, even without the Primal Rage to secure this point. But Twilight's going to be playing this time on this Zenyatta, so not going to see that same really tough Winston dive with the nano support.
I mean, he's showing a lot of respect to Miro. Wants to be able to pop the Discord orb on him. Speaking of popping something, the Primal Rage comes through here from Gamsu, and he has just got Eska stuck in a corner. But Eska still has not died. Nano boost comes through to try to keep him alive. They might have just done it. No, the last hit will come through, and Gamsu follows up for the double kill. Toby goes down as well, so both supports dead. On the side of Lunatic-Hai as CONBOX tries to clean up. The flip on the point hasn't come through yet. Will now be finding it. Just shy of 50% is Lunatic-Hai.
Gonna see the Diva resets here in the pit.
Yeah, just jumping in.
Yeah. No, it's not a happy place down there, but you get your mech back. So a win here for CONBOX Spirit now. They have really similar ults, obviously, to their opponents, but it's Gamsu who's doing the heavy lifting, as we see him do so many times on this map. Even before Winston was the go-to hero, when Reinhardt was more meta, we still saw Gamsu come to this map and go to town. Okay, we're going to see Architect finds a dive here into the support. Sound Barrier is going to protect him. He has a Dragon Blade. Won't necessarily need it here, though.
It has not used it yet. They will go ahead and push forward. Eska goes down. Nice little pick off there by Sleepy Bear. Miro popping that Primal Rage. We've seen how much work he's been able to do on this map in the past, but falls way too low, and Architect is there to clean up the kill. And CONBOX Spirit going to be holding on, tying the percentage here at 46, and advancing beyond Lunatic-Hai. Self-destruct thrown out there by Zumba, not going to find anything for his trouble. Will be able to re-enter unhindered.
Right.
Flip still has not come through.
So Asher, one of these players, sorry, not Asher, Architect, one of these players, hold that thought. Here comes Attack Visor. Eska finds the demeched Diva, but isn't going to be able to find anything else with this one, unfortunately. Yeah. So big commitment of resources there.
Pulse Bomb comes out, finds the stick here onto Oborochi. Meanwhile, Asher takes care of Ryujie Hong. There's just going to be an exchange of the supports here, back and forth. Lunatic-Hai looking for that retake, nearly have it, will be able to get it. Nobody able to tag into the point and delay it long enough, but 75% accrued there for CONBOX, so a very nice hold by them. Still have the Dragon Blade, and there's no Zenyatta on the side of Lunatic-Hai to deny that damage from coming through.
You can feel the focus here from Lunatic-Hai. Eska very much calm there, just even standing still for a moment as he gets his kind of ideas about where people are moving. Looking to target down Architect, nearly gets the pick there.
He goes dangerously though, has to kite out of there to get himself back to safety.
Another
Meanwhile,
dive.
Gamsu goes in, Sleep Dart connects in onto him, he goes low, and the Helix Rockets finish him off. Eska, nice accuracy coming through, follows up for the kill in onto Architect as he flips over to the side, catches him from behind, and that is going to be a massive delay here for Lunatic-Hai as they approach overtime, 82%.
And that's the Eska play that gets the big cheers. That's why in the highlight clips, he was the loudest one. Having that more consistent would be so amazing for Lunatic-Hai, but they get it where it matters here on this first point of Ilios. Only the Dragon Blade here. They're going to have the Transcendence in just a second. CONBOX looking for this. See if they dive in. Looking for the pick on the Winston first.
Yeah, they're trying to knock down Miro, maybe even force out the Primal Rage, which is exactly what's going to happen. Discord Orb is still on him, and now overtime actually ticking in. Somebody's got to tag onto the point. Somebody jumps in. Finally gets it. The Transcendence will come through as Twilight escorts his team in onto this point.
Here's the Dragon Blade.
Architect draws it out. The Sound Barrier immediately comes down. He's still slicing his way through, but he just can't get to the real meat of their HP. And he's going to go down. The Attack Visor from Eska on the backside of the fight comes up with a kill. He'll be drawing the full attention of Gamsu here with the Primal Rage. And we'll just be running back to keep himself safe now. Tag-ins onto the point, just trying to extend it, but nobody's there to follow up. Way too deep on the chase from Gamsu, just trying to finish off Eska on the Soldier. Not there to delay on the point, and Lunatic-Hai take it on well.
They also didn't use the Dragon Blade together with the Transcendence. The Transcendence protected Architect as he went in, but he didn't drop the Dragon Blade. They got greedy. They wanted to have the massive swing in the fight. That's why they had Gamsu dive in so deep, because they were hoping to pop more defensive ultimates coming out from Lunatic-Hai, so you get the clean sweep when the Dragon Blade came out. But as you said, he dove too deep and he chose chased too far. So point one will be taken from Lunatic-Hai. Not the cleanest map for either team. Lunatic-Hai really stepped up, especially Eska, with the accuracy there on the Soldier. You talk to anybody in Korea, and even Envious spoke to you about this, one of the players that secretly no one really respects right now outside of the pro scene, that everyone's talking about in Korea, though, as being a great player, is Architect on the Genji, though. If you give him the tools to work with, the Transcendence is a little bit better time. Perhaps he has a Sound Barrier or the Nano Boost. He's going to show some good Dragon Blades in this series. For sure.
Yeah, he's definitely the highlight of the DPS as far as CONBOX is concerned. Asher has had some performances, but overall it's just kind of been the passive one, the more more consistent, but never really shining in these fights. Gamsu yet again leaping in, building up a lot of ulti. As I say that, Asher is going to find that first blood, taking down Eska, but Jaehong actually takes out Architect right before dying as Gamsu gets the leap in. A nice little trade back, but CONBOX Spirit very much winning in on the fight. Post-bomb gets two! Gamsu and Oporochi both go down. Guido finally finding some ground to stand on. Will die in the end, but by God, what a beautiful stick. Cap comes through for CONBOX Spirit, but right off the bat, Zuma charging back in to try to contest this, but without his team backing him up, seems to be a bit of a poor decision, so he just jumps off to get the reset. CONBOX will be ticking this up for now.
I mean, you can see the impressive mechanics of Guido here with the pulse bomb, but unfortunately with him being the last man standing on a pile of bones of the rest of his team, it doesn't matter when he gets the stick. Zumba dashing back in gets the desynced respawn, so these are issues now for Lunatic-Hai as CONBOX Spirit just continues to build up a better ult economy.
Asher, doesn't find the stick. Toby immediately swapping over into that speed boost to keep himself safe. Here the nano boost has come through from the side of Twilight. White Ketchu is thrown on, it's going to be Gamsu pushing forward, now has the Primal Rage in a very contained spot.
Does dive away.
Get some smacks around there, but won't be coming up with too much. Meanwhile, Eska finds the kill on the Sleepy Bear with Attack Visor, and Asher wins out on the Tracer battle.
So much
still eluded Lunatic-Hai.
So much peeling coming out from Gamsu, so much time buying. The flip should come out through here for Lunatic-Hai, but they built it up to nearly 60% with this.
When the poops come through, Architect gonna go down. Toby plus the Diva means that he goes flying off the map. They finally flipped it with 58% there for CONBOX. Not too many ultimates to work with, whereas Lunatic-Hai are about to have 5 to defend this point.
Yeah, really only Eska's Tac Visor being used in that last fight to secure this, so he got the double there. Knocking Sleepy Bear out of the mech was huge for them. And have a nice edge here. Even though they lost the first point, they've really handled it quite well in terms of ult economy and the time bank. You know, looking for really aggressive picks back here. Unfortunately, nothing to find. Architect's going to pop the Dragon Blade. Transcendence to match it, though.
Yeah, Jaehong's there, and you can see Architect just has to peel back. He has to sacrifice that entire ultimate. Meanwhile, the sound barrier comes down here from Toby, just trying to keep everybody topped off, and as they chase in onto Asher, they will be able to kill him. Zumba coming up with the basically double kill, helping to take Sleepy Bear out of that mech, finished off by Guido. And Lunatic-Hai now dominating the point. About to be tied up at around 58%. CONBOX Spirit need some eco pushes.
Yeah,
try to get these ultimates
it's for
coming
Architect
through.
really, because he went in with a Dragon Blade unprotected when Nano Boost was almost ready, when the Sound Barrier was almost ready, but these things were missing in that last fight, and now that they're ready, he doesn't have the Dragon Blade, so we might see Gamsu get boosted here. We've seen it a lot on this map from CONBOX Spirit, so we'll see if that's their game plan here.
Oh, really well timed there by Guido, knowing exactly where Asher was going to end up. Pushes him off now. Trying to find the kill there onto Oporochi. He's able to make it over to the high ground, keep himself alive. Destruct gets tossed out, not going to find any kills, but Eska is being dealt with again at Gamsu. Just obsessed with that soldier. Has to be the one that takes him out. Finds it this time, except
they
still
don't get the flip, though.
Yeah, they still tick up.
And they used both support ultimates, both the Sound Barrier and the Nano Boost, so unfortunately they don't have those.
Gamsu's about to respawn. Just now coming up, 96%. They have to get in there. Asher dashes through. Gets booped off, has to use the recall.
A bit too
early.
Launches
in, Pulse Bomb comes through, not going to find anything. The Primal Rage is popped out by Miro, just trying to gatekeep multiple members into the sauna.
They need to get someone in there.
Dart. That's a massive one here for the side of CONBOX Spirit. They finally pile in as Gamsu makes it back onto the point, but he's so dangerously low, he will die in the end. As Zumba comes up with a double kill, Oporochi taken out, and Jaehong is going to go ahead, pop that Transcendence as they finish off Architect.
That's the map.
Just like that, Lunatic-Hai take that first win on Ilios.
Toby again, I want to highlight Toby because we talk about Lucio players sometimes being low impact, right? They buy a lot of time, do a lot of damage. We talked about Harry's, Lucio specifically, how good his accuracy is, how much damage he did. Toby with really good time buying tactics there, as well as several boops that were quite key in the team fights, which gave an ult lead several times to Lunatic-Hai because they got kills, they got picks without using ultimates. And for CONBOX Spirit, they committed to the Genji quite heavily, and we talked about how good of a Genji Architect is, especially his Dragon Blades when he has the healing ultimates paired with him. With the supports, at the end of that map, he just never could find that pairing. The ults were used opposite of each other each and every time. They committed the Nano Boost and the Sound Barrier to Gamsu. He couldn't find anything there. Perhaps was better used for Architect, who had already used the Dragon Blade without the ultimates before, so kind of bad synergy, the lack of synergy there for CONBOX on the ultimates. I think was ultimately what failed them, especially when they had the worst ult economy than what Lunatic-Hai used.
Yeah. I mean, aside from the large percentage accrued by CONBOX Spirit is kind of making Lunatic-Hai look like a Freak of Freaks blue with their ultimate use. Like they're using them one at a time, trying to say like, okay, you know what, how many do we need to invest in order to win this fight? And usually it's not many. Whereas CONBOX is just kind of vomiting their ultimates onto the screen, hoping to God that they come up with a result. And sure, it gets them a first cap, and then they build up some percentage. Maybe they hold for a little bit, up to about 60%, but then they lose out in the end. Lunatic-Hai just end up taking Ilios. But now second map, our hybrid, will be Hollywood, selected by CONBOX Spirit. But they need to turn things around. This is how things went the last 2 times they played against LW Blue. Well, they would actually win, rather, on the first control and then lose out the next 3. So maybe we just see a 3-0 from here.
Could be. As we go into game number 2, can CONBOX Spirit bring it back, or is Lunatic-Hai going to go to match point? Let's go into Hollywood.
I get it.
You know, this is a map we've seen a decent amount of Sombra play, both on the defense, especially in the case of Envious. They've used it here a lot. We've seen Sombra on attack with Talon compositions here on Hollywood, so not as common as on maps like Anubis, for example, but something we could see here. This is the map pick of CONBOX Spirit. We didn't get to see Twilight's Sombra. Eska's on the Sombra currently for defense, which is actually not a huge shocker, as Rujong will be sticking with the Ana instead.
Thought maybe we would see the triple support coming through just to try to get that 100% hold, but it's not the best selection for who the third player would be. So they do just want to go ahead and stick with the double DPS. Let's go on the Sombra, as you say.
Damsu teases the Talon with the Reaper, but obviously he wouldn't be the one playing the Reaper. It would likely be Architect or Asher. So
no, they're just going to run solo tank as D.Va. It'd be amazing.
Sadly not the case. He will switch over to the Winston, so straight up dive against the defensive Sombra here, 2-2-2. The lack of Soldier, just want to use the hacks and the flanking for EMP defenses.
Keep our eyes on Eska, see how he's going to play around this. See what side he's going to be playing too, because right now, CONBOX Spirit just wrapping around the backside of the point on that left flank. Try to insert themselves in, start that cap rolling through. Asher, gonna get caught, goes very low, force out the recall already as they start trying to push in onto the point.
Okay, here we go. Already Eska at 32% hack going on to Sleepy Bear. Not gonna stop him from helping the kill onto Toby.
Toby's the first one to go down as that Sleepy Bear helps take him out.
Maybe the nickname of some of the Lunatic-Hai fangirls, but unfortunately he does end up dying here.
Just combining some names there for a moment. CONBOX don't come up with some crucial picks as they finish off Eska. They get that first tick rolling through. Looks like the second one, and they might even just get the full cap right off the bat. And it seems like that might be the case because Architect, he is having a day out right now with his staple Genji. So sorry, Toby Bear. You can't do,
Toby Bear.
Can't do a damn thing.
So Eska now has the EMP, but didn't have it when it mattered most. He was sitting at 33% when the push hit. You need to be able to buy more time consistently with the Sombra composition when you're running the 2-2-2 with it. You need to buy enough time to get that first EMP, using an aggressive position to get the hacks, to get the health packs, getting those respawns. Unfortunately, you didn't get that. And this is Eska's first televised game of Sombra, and so far, again, not so impressive. They just really, CONBOX Spirit dealt with it handily, and they didn't have the time they needed to build the EMP. He has it now. Looks like he wants to save it to at least stop this second checkpoint.
Well, that is going to be the Nano Blade drawn out here by Architect. He is decently low, but now the sound barrier on top of it means he's that much safer. Finishes off Jae Hong. Hasn't quite found much else. Will be able to pop Zumba out of the mech right at the end and help confirm that kill. But a pretty big investment from the side of CONBOX Spirit. They don't gain that much for it, but the payload is at least moving.
Will Eska switch is the big question here. He takes his hand off the keyboard for a moment as he is picked off yet again. He's going to switch to the Soldier. This is a reasonable choice. He wasn't going to have an EMP in time for this next push. He's not going to have TAC Visor obviously either, but The consistency of Eska is always in question, but definitely not as good on the Sombra as the Soldier from what we've seen so far.
I mean, he should have had the EMP as soon as the Nano boost came through. Could have denied that Dragon Blade.
Yeah, just too late on that, unfortunately.
Yeah, really late on the trigger. Sound barrier does come through here by Toby. Has to drop it down the wall. Eventually hits it, but Jaehong has already fallen. Eska finishes off Gamsu. Getting rid of one of those tanks. It's going to be a nice little crucial pickup for him. They need so much more to deny this push coming through, because right now 3:45 on the clock. And just in front of point B already. Self-destruct from Sleeping Bear does find Miro. Well, poor positioning there from the Winston. Couldn't get himself out to safety in time. But for now, it seems like CONBOX will be staved off.
Yeah, they're staved off for now, but the really critical Nano Blade is going to be the next tactic
That's
here.
Another boost as they throw it in on the Gamsu. You go straight into the back line, trying to get rid of these supports. Finds Jaehong, who swapped over onto that Zenyatta. And Eska falls as well. So maybe this is the push. A self-destruct thrown out here by Zumba. However, and Gamsu, just like that, will get picked off. So it seems like the Winstons are just very susceptible to those self-destructs at the moment. And Zumba will just go straight back into the mech and start shoving people off that payload yet again.
We've been seeing so much aggressive dive from Gamsu to have these Primal Rages more often. Eska pops attack, unfortunately.
All right,
no one's even nearby, but going back to my original point, as the Escalals pop off in the chat, Gamsu's been really very aggressive. He's had more Primal Rages than Miro so far this
cost
game.
him a lot. That's going to be the sound barrier coming down with the Dragon Blade, and Jaehong yet again gets picked off. Sleeping Bear finds the kill. Dasher with the Pulse Bomb, ready to go. Trying to find a target. Could Dasher throw it in onto that Diva mech, but wants to just try to pop it by itself. Will be able to do so. Throws out the bomb, finds Toby, takes him down, and CONBOX Spirit starting to win the fight. Miro will pop the Primal Rage to try to delay. Sleep Dart comes through, but they will wake him back up immediately. Maybe not the best decision, but they wanted him away from the payload all the same. And looks like they might just get the completion here as Gamsu pops his own ult, and it's just wreaking havoc inside the studio.
For the respawns to be staggered here. Looks like it is going to be an escape there for Toby, luckily for Lunatic-Hai. They do have a lot of ults available to use here. Unfortunately, the Winston ultimate there just not really useful at all, so that's something that's missing from their arsenal to use right now, but the push continues. It's been solid so far. But going back to my original point, Gamsu just feels like he has Primal Rage more often. Sometimes it looks silly when he dives in and he dies, but when it works out, it pays off in dividends. He's been protected really well by Twilight, who has more nanos. She's been nano boosting him again on the Winston, rather than nano boosting Architect for the Blades.
Yeah, that's going to be the sound barrier out here from the side of Lunatic-Hai as they try to stay alive. Architect just holding on to that Dragon Blade yet again, waiting for the shield to expire before he draws it out. Big deflect comes through. It's not going to be enough to save his life, though, because Zumba dashes through, gets the boop to kill him. So a decent opening here for Lunatic-Hai to try to posture further forward. The self-destruct will disrupt that. No kills coming down here for Sleepy Bear as he re-enters, and they actually force out the Transcendence from Jaehong, and Architect still has that Dragon Blade, so Lunatic-Hai really playing with fire with his ultimate usage. You can see the Transcendence goes down, Dragon Blade comes through, Architect finds one, but everybody immediately turns on to him, and Zumba takes him out yet again.
They're going to need to back off here. Eska's going to wipe them when the defense matrix goes down. Still sticking around a little bit longer here, however. Looks like they're finally going to get away. So, CONBOX Spirit, they did force a lot of ultimates out with that last push. While it's about to have that very important nano, will he use it on Gamsu? The answer is yes. He's got the Primal Rage, so can use this attack first and use that for survivability. There's the big Primal.
Hit in onto Jaehong, smacks him away, but can't follow up with the kill. There's so much disarray going on as he leaps around, can't quite find the targets to identify.
Primal Rage saves him.
Yeah, forces out the Primal Rage of Miro here, who's just going to use that to lock this Ana into a corner and try to take her out. He's got the Lucio in there as well, finds Twilight. And he got to follow up for more, wants to back off, get some healing coming through. But Lunatic-Hai are just holding this corner so well.
You have to give real props to Gamsu for what he was able to accomplish there, though, regardless. Getting the health back there, forcing out Miro's Primal Rage, but as you said, the push continues, or sorry, the hold continues here for Lunatic-Hai, and the time ticks down. Not a whole lot left here for CONBOX Spirit to push with. Twilight with the odd switch to Sombra here at the end, not for a Talon, perhaps just for the hacks, for the picks here as they push forward.
I mean, this gives them a lot of reliability to kite back, pick up these health packs, a 200 one especially on the right side, to keep topped off. For now, we'll just be pushing in. Transcendence yet again going to be forced out as Toby does go down, so not keeping the Lucio alive is Jaehong.
Yippee, getting closer and closer here. He's actually been able to do a lot with that health pack, as you said.
Pulse Bomb gets rid of Jaehong. Another Dragon Blade's going to be ready to go from Architect. He has a massive opening here. Toby does have a sound barrier to try to chew through a bit of that damage. As we do see it gets popped.
EMP.
The EMP does get dropped here by Twilight. Architect still dashing through, looking desperately for a kill. Won't find one, but the rest of his squad has. Several members dead on the side of Lunatic-Hai. They have to tag in onto the point to try to delay this, but you can see they're just being contained back into the spawn.
Zumba.
4.3 meters left to go. Self-destruct thrown down to try to zone him out. Miro goes back in dangerously low. Will be taken out as Asher
Zumba,
finds the kill.
self-destruct.
Self-destruct thrown out. Not going to find anything, but they're still just piling in, trying to delay as long as possible. But Gamsu has another primal rage. They're going to pop Zumba out of the mech, and it should just be a matter of time for the completion as they keep dashing off.
They want to get it before the overtime. They're very close. Here comes Miro to try to buy time. He's got the primal rage. He's hacked though, and he goes down.
Yeah, he will fall, but it's just 0.01 meters left to go here for CONBOX Spirit. They will force the overtime, at least Lunatic-Hai, but they keep coming back in and not giving up.
The consistent kills coming out here for CONBOX. They should be able to finish this. It's an overtime now, but Lunatic-Hai is trying their damnedest to hold on as Miro comes in again.
This is unbelievable that they've been able to extend this long, but yeah, the kills come through. The respawn timer is just way too long. That would have been the most insane hold that we would have ever seen if it was completed by Lunatic-Hai. But unfortunately for them, they do not have it. They have to push all the way to point C.
The
But at
Sombra,
least there's no time bank available
the
for CONBOX.
Sombra tech there at the end was really cool to see. Consistent hacking on the mobile target, stalking the Winston of Miro, stopping him from being able to do what he wanted to do best there, stopping him from escaping especially, where Winston buys time, then kites back to spawn, then comes back again, very annoying to deal with. The same with Zumba's Diva, but the hacks came in for Twilight. The big health pack on the right side that you mentioned was used consistently. This is a very well-practiced strategy by CONBOX. They get the EMP off early, Architect's Dragon Blade paired with that, and you have a completed push for CONBOX Spirit. So Lunatic-Hai definitely looked poised to hold there, but did not happen in the end. As we see Eska once again, it's attack, so obviously we have to wait and see. Showing the Sombra here, pretty lackluster on defense compared to other players who've used the Sombra on this map, like Taimu specifically. Always reference him because he's had some of the best EMPs on this map. And it's going to be Twilight on his own, not going to be running the Ana here to boost Gamsu in these team fights.
Yeah, so they want to have this Sombra for the defense, which means a lot of pressure here on OVERWATCH. His positioning has to be on point. He can't get picked off on that Lucio, or else the rest of CONBOX Spirit could just get stomped out of this match. So
Obviously,
we'll keep our eyes on him, especially.
Yeah, and obviously Sombra's not really a traditional support. She does provide a lot of extra healing, but they're not going to sacrifice DPS for this. They still want to have the Tracer Genji with the defensive dive here, so it's going to be OVERWATCH who's going to have to do a lot.
Okay.
In a moment when the pause is over.
Yeah, we'll just go ahead, throw out a pause right before the map starts, so at least we're not in the middle of some action where it can really just sway the tides of the fight.
Were we not, though? Because my favorite part of the entire match is when I watch the countdown, and I wonder, will there be a pause? And I get really hyped to Kilios as we go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, now you get two countdowns there. The
There
one
we
to
go.
get us back out of the pause and the one to start the game. So there you go. It actually
I'm
benefits
really happy.
you even more.
Double countdowns all the way.
I'm sure you're ecstatic.
I am. Okay, let's see what Eska gets done with his first push. Sombra versus Sombra. Translocator advantage, obviously, on the defense here. He's going to get the hack, though.
Yeah,
this shouldn't have happened.
Not hacked out by Twilight, who was playing around this flank, so really just poor decision-making by CONBOX Spirit, by Twilight on his own to not have that hacked, and now Lunatic-Hai just going to be pushing around the backside of the point like we saw from CONBOX on the attack, but they're diving into the building, almost get the kill in on the Gamsu, are able to finish him off right at the end as he gets back around the gate.
Good
He will go
zoning.
down, but can they complete the cap? First tick getting ready to come through as CONBOX Spirit look to retake the point.
Good zoning by Zumba. He was able to stay alive there with all the heals. It's so much healing for his team.
Asher going low as he tries to duel this one out with Guido, finds
Nicely
him
done.
with the recall to keep himself alive. Twilight goes in, throws down the EMP, but there's not much follow-up. In fact, there'll just be an answering EMP here from Eska as they do trade a 2-for-2. Guido and Jaehong both falling. First tick, all that was acquired by Lunatic-Hai so far, looking for a little bit more as Miro goes yet again back in onto the point.
Oh.
Now barrier thrown down here from Toby.
Attempted hack there on the Toby. He fails to get it, though. That would have been so huge if he could have denied that sound barrier. Pulse Bomb is going to knock Zumba out of the mech, though. Actually, it's Sleeping Bear
Yeah,
goes
Sleeping
falls
Bear
there.
does come out, and then he's going to get knocked down as Miro just zaps him to death. Still just playing Gatekeeper, trying to keep everybody contained as Architect. Throws out the Dragon Blade back in onto the point. Won't get any kills with it. And has to peel back as he goes down at the end. Eska able to chase him out. But yet again, the second tick is not there for Lunatic-Hai. This push is still being delayed and denied by CONBOX Spirit.
It's such a long push, too. It's just so long contested. Here comes another EMP. Guido is going to get the pick onto Gamsu. This may finally be the opportunity that Lunatic-Hai has been looking for so long.
But look at that, Twilight still just keeps himself alive, has the EMP ready to go for himself now.
Here we go.
And Lunatic-Hai, they profit a little bit from their own, drops it down, will die, but is the follow-up there for the rest of his squad? Looks like the answer is going to be no. Architect goes in, finds the kill onto Jaehong, but without the Dragon Blade to follow up, won't be finding too many other kills. So the cap finally completed here by Lunatic-Hai, but well delayed by CONBOX Spirit. 4 minutes, 15 seconds on the push for Street Space.
Definitely a nice hold there. Did a lot to delay. Lunatic-Hai victorious in the end. I feel like Zumba really controlled a lot of the early part of that fight, really peeling very well so that Eska and Guido could do their work on the dive.
Okay. Architect just sniping Guido, I believe, with the shurikens.
But when you have that successful of a dive where everyone's staying alive, you have the consistent healing, you got the big health pack too. You have so much more sustain to actually keep that going for a long time. Very impressive to see Lunatic-Hai actually pull that off with the longer respawns coming in.
See how long they can stay postured this far forward. So far, high ground contention hasn't been priority here for Lunatic-Hai. You see Zumba going up there trying to disrupt things a little bit. Pulse Bomb comes down, but it's not going to find the stick. Guido not able to help take down Gamsu, but he's still playing very far forward against a team that has a Discord Orb, and he will die even with the Primal Range.
There's the triple here on the side of Lunatic-Hai.
Sweeping
To
kills.
push it.
Pressure dashing around, making his way over to that health pack where they do have the hack, but it's still not enough. Miro takes him out in the end, and that's a very delayed team kill, but the payload will finally get moving here for Lunatic-Hai.
Well, this kind of Genji-less comp here for Lunatic-Hai, where we have Guido really showing his stuff on the Tracer, which he played much more than he did, of course, in their match against Panthera. Really working out for them so far. Twilight holds on to the EMP here, looks for the pick on to Jaehong on the high ground as well.
I mean, now he might just be dropping in for it. Actually, Jaehong goes very low and will be finished off as Gamsu goes forward. Twilight, a bit of a rough spot, can't drop the EMP as he is hacked already. Will go down, and Lunatic-Hai, even with losing Jaehong, will be trading up massively as they just work their way through CONBOX Spirit with relative ease, and Jaehong, surprisingly, is swapping over to the Soldier.
Oftentimes when you hold on to these EMPs, it's really impressive and it shows a really nice awareness of the situation. But I think in this case, because of the game of chicken, so to speak, with EMPs, holding on to it there might have actually cost them big. As yeah, a very rare DPS here from Jaehong. We've seen him play attack Widowmaker here, but never the Soldier.
Pulse Bomb thrown down by Guido, gonna go wide, so doesn't find the stick, doesn't find the kill. As it dashes his way out to safety as Toby falls on the other side of the fight. So it might be a temporary little halt here on the push, especially as Eska and Guido both go down. Jaehong poking in, trying to find this kill in on Architect. One more hit would do it, but there's the right click to finish him off. Hero follows up, avenging his former healer, but won't be finding much more than that. Rollback now starting to come through on the payload. It was just 3.2 meters away from point B. And you gotta say, CONBOX Spirit, fantastic delay tactics so far. Minute and a half left on the clock, and Lunatic-Hai have to go to the distance.
It's so unusual. I know Eska's really good on the trace. We see him a lot, but because Guido is here now, he's on the Sombra, and Ryu Jaehong is forced to play the Soldier. An unusual setup here. Eska leads with the EMP, met by another one here, so everybody's hacked in this hack
dropped out
party.
here from Twilight, but Guido actually going to help follow up the kill there onto Gamsu. They get Architect and Sleepy there. Is popped out of the mech and should be going down momentarily. Twilight and the Baby Diva do go down now. There's nothing really to stop that payload from being completed. Gamsu can't get there in time, having just respawned. So they get the point B, but it's 2 minutes, 25 seconds for them to complete this push.
This says a lot about Ryu Jaehong's hero pool here, being able to flex into the Soldier in this situation and doing
really
a great
good staggering.
job. This push continues, but it's still a long way away. 2 minutes and 12 seconds left for Lunatic-Hai. They've got a lot of ultimates to use here. They don't have the EMP. They have it more than Twilight does, just for the moment at least. But this is just so odd to see Ryu Jaehong on the Soldier, but they make it work here with a triple DPS attack.
Oh, they didn't notice Asher. So they don't know that he's just dropping in above, drops down that pulse bomb, but still doesn't have the stick, even with all the sneakiness in the world. But Sleepy Bear pushing forward is enough to take out Toby, so they still kill the target that they had in mind. A decent little hold starts to come through here. A 2-for-1 in favor of CONBOX Spirit as they look for more. Eska getting chased down, is hacked out, will be finished off by the boot from Sleepy Bear. And Zumba knocked out of the mech in a very rough spot. Minute and 30 on the clock here. Lunatic-Hai as they keep trying to push forward. They've rounded the final corner, but they need to close the distance.
They have an ult lead, but that could all be shattered by Twilight's EMP. We'll see who gets it first. Eska's home.
Going in. Guido chases forward with him and they take out Asher.
Okay, his EMP comes up first for Twilight.
Miro was not affected, could pop that Primal Rage, does so. Has not done so yet. Attack Visor comes out there from Jaehong. Heals Gamsu and Jaehong.
Eska's unable to use his EMP in this fight, which means he can't actually find the follow-up here.
Yeah, we're going all over the place, so things are just getting a bit muddled here as CONBOX Spirit continues to get the hold. They kill Miro at the end. Didn't use the Primal Rage. We'll have it for one final push as they're nearly have 6 ultimates. Jaehong swapping back over to the Transcendence will delay that a bit further. But with no Dragon Blade there from Architect, there's not that much to fear in that regard.
Okay, so a large amount of ultimates build up here for Lunatic-Hai again. This time they're going to use Eska's EMP. Finally, they get it down.
Drop
They
this
should
one
be able
out.
to push
That's
this
going to be
through.
the self-destruct thrown out here. Doesn't find anything, and OVERWATCH is going to be the first one to fall. They get Architect as well, so big openings here for Lunatic-Hai, but then losing Miro with the Primal Rage could very well cost them for the delay, for getting people cleared off of this payload. There's a couple more meters to go, 12 more. And they could tie this one up. It's likely going to have to be in overtime. Twilight has the EMP ready. Will jump up with the Translocator, throws it down, dies right off the bat. Still several members dead on the side of CONBOX Spirit. 3, 4 now, waiting to respawn. Architect will go down. Gamsu follows suit. Asher going to try to dash back in to contest this one, but Lunatic-Hai will get the completion in overtime.
And they win this off of hero flexibility. Guido, of course, now finding his roots back on the Tracer. You have Eska starting out on the Sombra, playing it for the first time ever, finding success, good hacks, and giving Twilight a real run for his money. Sometimes Twilight got the leap on him, had the edge on him in terms of EMP usage, but always Lunatic-Hai had the better ult economy. I think that's the big story here. They had a large time bank, and sometimes they lost like 3 teamfights really at the end of that, trying to force it in for the completion, but CONBOX Spirit just ulted very heavily, used several with the EMP, and when the fight went wrong for Lunatic-Hai, they didn't commit anything else, and eventually they were the ones that had the ult advantage and shoved through. Eska holding onto that EMP a bit longer there at the end. So really good to see Twilight back on the Sombra. Exciting to see the man who kind of made this meta, at least started it to make it more mainstream, starting from promotions. But Eska, on his first time, looks really good too. He's sliding.
It's an interesting spot.
Well, I mean, Toby's a good Lucio. Probably why he was picked for World Cup. You have to imagine.
Yeah.
It wasn't just because he's really handsome and one of the more famous players on the team. It's just his Lucio is so good.
All right, well, here we go. Minute on the clock for each of these squads. CONBOX Spirit starting things off on the attack, still running the same composition. Asher on that Tracer, Architect on the Genji, but they need one swift take. Try to build up as much percentage as possible in order to take this map and tie up the series. Otherwise, Lunatic-Hai looking at that match point for the victory here on Hollywood. Oh, come on, he's trying to shoot the Tracer. Stop body blocking.
That's
Zumba.
the worst feeling ever when you're the Ana. Okay, Gamsu dives into the back here, finds a good angle, really nice shield as well. Nice targeting here.
Yeah, they take out Toby and already nearly have that first hit coming through. Gamsu going back in onto the point to finish off anybody that can find. But Miro still very healthy. Will help gatekeep that enemy Winston off the point.
Eska goes down.
Contesting. So does go down, as you say. Architect dashes his way through, despite the fact that he has a sliver of HP. He is still alive, and the first tick has been achieved here for CONBOX Spirit, and it's rapidly going up. Asher tossing out the pulse bomb, not going to find anything, but they might just have the cap here. Lunatic-Hai, look like they're just going to give this one away, and Zumba will be pushing in, has that nano boost in onto him.
Okay, Eska's almost at the EMP, doesn't want to buy enough time to get that EMP out, but he gets taken out here, not available for this fight. That should almost certainly be the cap here for CONBOX Spirit in overtime.
Yeah,
there
they're
it
able
is.
to get it. And now they have to stick to this payload like glue, but already getting the cap with just a minute on the clock is so crucial for them to find victory here on Hollywood. Lunatic-Hai have several ultimates to try to stop this push from coming through. We'll see how they want to approach this one, because they need to stop this push very quickly.
And they do so. The tools they have available are many. They have the pulse bomb to drop, they have the self-destruct, which is really powerful when paired with the EMP, so you might see that be the way to just knock them off, to tick down the overtime, as it's basically going to move at light speed for how long they've been on this point. Guido starting the approach, trying to force out that defense matrix first before they go into this engage.
We heard the Primal Rage pop there by Gamsu. Eska still has that EMP
There's
ready to
EMP.
go. Throws it out as a self-destruct hits, but it's not going to find anybody. Meanwhile, Zumba with his own takes out Asher, but it's still not enough to get them off the cart. Miro now having the Primal Rage, playing with fire, trying to go as low as possible before he pops it. Wants to knock them all off and just force this out. Sound Barrier comes down, pops the Primal Rage. Sleepy Bear knocked in out of the mechs. As that Nano Boost comes through in onto Gamsu. He can stick around for a
Architect's
while.
Dragon Blade though, he's gonna get some kills here.
Goes
Toby's
to the
the
back
first.
line, takes out Toby, finds Zumba as soon as he gets knocked out of that mech, follows up for a final one onto Guido. And just like that, Lunatic-Hai, the team kill is completed, and CONBOX Spirit just keep on moving.
It's rolling, man. They used a lot of ultimates for that, but Lunatic-Hai used even more. Eska was on his way to another EMP, stopped in his tracks around 65% though, as a chair is even going with this payload. It's out of control. But CONBOX Spirit has the lead now. They also have Primal Rage to buy further time. This is such an amazing push for them.
And that was all the ultimates there from Lunatic-Hai. A couple close there as the EMP is about there from Eska, will now have it.
Zumba's gonna have another self-destruct with this. Perhaps that's the pairing again they try to go for. Here it
He
is.
goes ahead, drops that one down, tries to get the kill in under Architect, but cannot find it. Sleepy Bear gets knocked out of the mech, but Guido falls.
Here's the self-destruct.
We find Asher, self-destruct, as you say, going to be blocked out by the payload, so no kills to be found for Zumba.
Not using it with the EMP, wanting to use them separately here, but they do get the mech advantage here.
And Zenith comes down, and Architect, Discord Orb onto him, is able to kite back successfully. Now is the recipient of that Nano Boost. He just tries to build up for that Dragon Blade very rapidly. He's getting too many hits in, now has it available, draws it out. He's going to be looking for the kills. Can he find Toby? One slash would be enough to finish him off, but instead he's going to go ahead and gets rid of Zumba. Jae-Hong has already fallen as Asher finishes him off. Sleep Dart in onto Toby. He goes
The
down.
push
The
continues.
push keeps going, and CONBOX Spirit, they're going to get point B.
There is no stop in this payload. They got a battering ram chair here to push their way through this one. Doors open, and Lunatic-Hai, momentum is absolutely against them now. We're going to see the Sleep Dart come in here again. Jae-Hong's done. That's another pick. That's another desync spawn. This is an incredible push. Remember, Lunatic-Hai also only has 1 minute for their push. They're going to have just as miraculous of a push. That is, even if they can take the first point. I mean, this is just salt in the wounds right now for Lunatic-Hai.
And this is absolutely insane by CONBOX, a performance that we never would have anticipated from them, even against a lesser team, but let alone against the likes of Lunatic-Hai. Self-destruct thrown out by Sleepy Bear, not going to find much as they keep trying to round this final corner and get that completion. It would be a massive statement to be made by CONBOX if they can complete the map yet again.
Okay, Asher here looking for a pulse bomb. Hack comes in here with it. Doesn't find a kill with that pulse bomb, but they have the sound barrier. Lunatic-Hai do to help sustain through this. This might be their opportunity, finally, to stop this push.
Architect and Twilight go down. Sleepy Bear popped out of the mech. Not going to be finding anything in the self-destruct from Zumba. Won't be claiming any lives, so CONBOX Spirit will be pushing back in to try to get back onto the payload. They get knocked away for a second, but Gamsu's able to tag back in, has the Primal Rage to keep himself postured forward. The rest of the team getting ready to join in, but the
Pulse
pulse bomb
bomb
finishes them off. If they step off of this for even a second, even half a second, CONBOX Spirit will be stopped at the push, but you have to say they've done so much work already. It just doesn't even damn well matter. That will be it in the end. But 2 points nearly around the final quarter. CONBOX Spirit exceeded all expectations.
With a 1 minute overtime push, 1 minute to cap the point, and nearly push, they nearly push all the way to completion with this. As it felt like Lunatic-Hai started getting desperate, they were throwing out Hail Mary ultimates that were not coordinated. The thing that we saw several times was the EMP comes in with no follow. We talked about the strength of Zumba coming in with the self-destruct with the EMP because no defensive ultimates could be used, but they were never used in conjunction. The first time they used it, it felt like they were trying to make it a combo, and it was just so poorly timed. The second time, they just didn't use it together at all. It was like they just hadn't either considered it or they didn't want to use it that way. Those were tools they had in their arsenal that they didn't actually pull to fruition. So now, as miraculous as that push is for CONBOX Spirit, Lunatic-Hai has to do just the same, then they have to do better. It's going to be so difficult. For Lunatic-Hai, they're probably already thinking about what map they want to pick for Assault, because this is a miracle situation. I will eat my hat, I will eat your shoes, Achilleos, if they can pull this off. It would be insane.
I'm gonna buy a new pair of shoes for you to eat because I rather like the ones that I'm wearing. But
Okay.
your bet has been accepted, Wolf.
I mean, as long as they belong to you when I eat them, the bet is on. So you
All
can
right.
get some cheap ones at Payless if you like.
All right.
Korean Payless. Just,
I'll get something that pulls apart very easily, so it's easier for you to devour them.
I mean, I didn't say how I was eating them. I'm going to cook them first. So.
All right. Well, I would hope so. Eating raw shoe.
Not the way.
Definitely not the way you do it. But all right, here we go. The attack coming through now from Lunatic-Hai. Gonna be yet again the Sombras on either side. Eska still sticking to that one, and Guido in onto the Tracer. Gets found out, takes quite a bit of damage, forces out the recalls. He dashes back, tries to get over to that health pack, but surprise, it is gonna be hacked.
Surprise, surprise, as the Sombra war continues here. Nice position here for Eska, actually, to get a lot of damage, build a lot of charge, up to 34.
Architects really botched that one up, didn't have the dash through, but already we're at 20 seconds. First tick hasn't been completed here from Lunatic-Hai. Will be an overtime situation as that EMP does get dropped out here by Twilight. He falls right off the back, but as does Eska. So Lunatic-Hai will not have an answering EMP to try to take this point. A 2 for 2 so far as CONBOX Spirit still maintains control over the point. And with 5 seconds ticking down, Lunatic-Hai are going to have to get into this one. You know, 83% here on the ultimate. Jumps into the building, goes low, will fall down. Asher finds the kill. And honestly, CONBOX Spirit might just be able to hold this before
There's
that
still a
first
chance.
tick even comes through.
Okay, here comes Sleepy Bear back into the point. He's nowhere near his self-destruct, unfortunately. Architect's gonna have Dragon Blade if they can hold until then. Toby, of course, got the double. Here's the EMP finally coming down
Pulse
from
Bomb finds
Eska.
Gamsu. Sleepy Bear knocked out of the back and does get taken down. Can they complete this? Is the question. Second tick about to come in as Guido goes far forward, gatekeeping as best as possible. Finishes off Overwatch. And it seems like Lunatic-Hai are keeping the hopes alive, at least for now. The completion will be there. But again, all the way through to the studio, around that final corner is where they need to get to.
Do you believe in miracles, Achilles?
Do you believe that you can actually eat a shoe and a hat?
I'll have to look that up on WikiHow before I try it. We'll see. Zuba's going to have the self-destruct now. Eska far away from the EMP, but CONBOX doesn't really have a massive ult economy lead right now. They are going to have that first EMP, though, which is super important, because that could just be the one push they need. Gamsu with Primary might be able to finish it up. Again, really good transcends coming up first from Ryo Jong. You always want to do it before the EMP. Here's the EMP afterwards, though. Now the healing is missing.
Let's drop it down. It's the sound barrier out there from CONBOX Spirit. They're already finding two as Architect draws out the Dragon Blade, slashing away, trying to find some picks. Doesn't really find too much for his trouble and has to get zoned back because of that self-destruct. And Zumba finds a double kill. Sleepy Bear and Gamsu both get taken down. So Zumba paying out for that one with his life. Still trades up quite a bit. Pulse Bomb not going to connect his Miro.
Miro super
Tries
low.
to delay. Will get taken down, and now it's all
They
on
have to use
Guido.
sound barrier. They have to make this work.
Yeah, they pile back in. 3 members against the world. The payload actually starts moving as CONBOX Spirit kites back a bit. Want to maintain their lives.
That
Themselves
was
up.
a razor-thin defense for Lunatic-Hai to hold on to the point there. They were just barely able to get back in time. Miro really doing the work there in terms of buying time as Jaeyoung switches back in onto the
Gamsu
soldier.
gets taken down. Gamsu trying to open something up, looking for that tac visor as Lunatic-Hai gets ready to approach point B.
Here we go. Eska is coming in. Gonna have that EMP in just a moment. They're 2/3 of the way there. Just gotta keep up the momentum. Gonna hold on to it for now. Jaeyoung gets
Architect
that
is
pick.
dead. That's a nice little pick off there from Jaehong, but the contest now coming through here from CONBOX Spirit. They want to go ahead and stifle this right here, right now. Sound
EMP.
barrier down. Jaehong picked off the first one to fall on the side of Lunatic-Hai.
EMP not really
comes
well
down.
placed.
Yeah, it's not really getting them much. Zumba able to pop out Sleepy Bear, able to take down Overwatch. They will be trading Lucios as Toby goes down. Twilight finishing him off, but Lunatic-Hai still decently healthy as they try to stick in on the point. But
Miro goes down before Primal.
actually does find him, and now it's just Zumba. He's all on his lonesome in the mech, trying to stay alive. Pulse Bomb comes down.
He's down.
taken
That's
out.
it.
That's it. CONBOX Spirit will have the defense. They will have the hold. Hollywood goes over to them. They're going to tie up the series 1-1, and Wolf, you are safe. You do not have to eat a shoe nor a hat.
No, not eating it. No shoes, no hats. But Lunatic-Hai gonna be frustrated with this one. The miracle push they had to push against there. They just got hammered, hit over and over and over again. Better control of the health packs there on defense by CONBOX Spirit. Then also the better just overall play in terms of pushing on the point. The better ult economy. Eska's last EMP really didn't hit the mark. I think they were trying to commit in that moment. It was also really cool to see the bait out by Twilight to actually get that extra Transcendence to be used early by Jaehyung, he fake used the translocator because it's actually a technique that every Zenyatta needs to know in this meta is, okay, he's about to drop down the EMP, I need to use Transcendence first. He baited it with a fake translocator, so Ryu Jaehyung used the Transcendence first before he switched to Soldier, and unfortunately, that was a waste that really hurt their push. We're going to go to a commercial break. This series is just getting heated up, tied up 1-1. We'll see you guys in just a few.
언제 어디서나 깔끔하고 상쾌하게.
이런 게 트래비 스타일.
Stylish sparkling water, Trevi.
As a full-time streamer, my computer has to keep up with everything I do. All my streaming applications and the Twitch chat at the same time as the game. The Core i7 allows me to really concentrate on my viewers and my community.
Welcome back. It's 1-1. CONBOX with a dominant performance on Hollywood. Their map pick looked like it might have been a one-sided series after what happened on Control, but boy, did they bounce back. Lunatic-Hai showing some flexibility with the triple DPS with the Sombra as well, but looked like it was more of a liability than an asset overall.
Yeah, I mean, Eska, that's just poor. Anyway, we'll move on from that. I can harp on that for the longest time. Eska, lol, you know, meme, whatever. But it's time for the turnaround performance here as we get ready to go over onto Assault. This will play a lot more like Control, so expected that Lunatic-Hai, if they can replicate their performances from Well and Lighthouse, should have the upper hand. But CONBOX Spirit, they really went the difference. They had a miracle run, pushing all the way past point B in overtime. So, I mean, they're fired up, and the momentum certainly on their side at the moment. We'll see if Lunatic-Hai can shift that away from them, can turn it on its head as we find out Temple of Anubis will be our third map. And this could be match point for CONBOX if they come up with another victory.
I really like this choice because, you know, even though Eska certainly had his moments, in terms of consistency, Twilight is the better Sombra player, so why risk running Volskaya and the Sombra versus Sombra that you've already kind of failed in terms of EMP usage, the fake outs we saw from Twilight with the translocator, things like that. Just throw that away, remove that extra variable. Yes, you may still face the Sombra here, and it could be some Talon Cops coming out, possibly, but you have a more straight-up mechanical battle on Temple of Anubis instead of dealing with the Sombra and potentially Sombra versus Sombra, depending on how Lunatic-Hai wants to run with this. So I respect the map choice. Could have been Hanamura too, but obviously the same Sombra issues do persist. We are tied up 1-1. Winner will go to match point. Let's jump into Anubis.
I get it.
Alright, well here we go. Lunatic-Hai going to be on the Assault, their map choice. Temple of Anubis. See if we will actually have that Widowmaker start things off. Something tells me that probably not.
It could happen.
It is an innate possibility.
But when you look at the rest of the composition, you have to definitely give some thinking emojis as you see the multi-DPS here. Raid Yujihong on the Genji, for example. It's like, all right, guys, Guido wasn't that bad, all right? So we'll see what they decide to roll with in the end, but it is going to be Twilight, it looks like, on the Sombra for defense here. Could definitely circumvent that a little bit easier on this map than you can on Volskaya, though, so I still like the map pick for Lunatic-Hai, despite what I was talking about earlier with the Sombra.
I'd like somebody to take that that picture of Wolverine laying in bed, looking at the, at the photo longingly, and just put Miro's face over it, and then have "Who are you?"
Feels that way, man. We're all missing him right now. Guido,
and honestly, it's not even Guido. Like, it's actually like there's just been some disjointedness, and honestly, Eska has been one of the bigger problems.
But Eska's going to be playing the Reaper this time as they go full Talon here, so it is going to be the Sombra versus Sombra. Somewhat of a questionable choice by Lunatic-Hai when you consider what happened the last time that they ran the Sombra versus Sombra, but obviously the Reaper can be there for the Death Blossom. Definitely some hyper-aggressive positioning down here. He's going to get the advanced hack, so they're going to look for the double cap with the Death Blossom. This is some real next-level strategy coming out from Lunatic-Hai. It could work if they get the first Death Blossom, they get the fast cap, they try to go for the quick double. It's a possibility, but
if it doesn't work, they just kind of look like a bunch of idiots.
Sure.
It's like, oh yes, I've hacked your 200 HP pack all the way over here, and now I can't cap your point A. But for now, they will be piling in, nearly have that first stick ready to go. We'll see if they can actually pull this one off, but Jaehong going down, first and foremost, is not going to help them out.
This is just not the Lunatic-Hai that, they were made famous for. It's such an unusual playstyle. So many hero swaps. Jaehong this time on the Sombra. Eska on the Reaper. He's going to go down.
Well, guess what? First hack is there. First EMP, rather, from Twilight.
Of course, he had the better setup. The defensive setup here obviously better for Sombra, especially when you take that aggressive point B health pack.
I mean, Jaehong is now at 63%. trying to get towards that EMP, and Eska at 70. So I mean, like, sure, maybe you make this work, but Jaehong has to go back, cap the the health pack yet again.
Yeah, I mean, the idea here was certainly what we call in StarCraft an all-in, right? It's incredible if it works, but it's very risky and hard to pull off. If it fails, you definitely pay for it. We're going to go for the hack here on the Sleepy Bear. I believe he actually got that.
He does find it this
Died
time, but
immediately.
he comes back, and Architect just waiting for him, just cut him down, draws out the Dragon Blade, playing a bit with fire. Here he goes dangerously low, but finds the follow-up kill in on the Toby, has the deflect to try to buy himself some time. He gets finished off by Miro at the end. Eska now pushing in onto the point. They've healed up just a little bit, has the Death Blossom ready to land.
If they don't have to use it here, it's huge because they have the immediate opportunity to use it for the second push on point B.
And
so
it seems like they will be able to get the cap, so still will have quite a bit of time here on the clock. So Lunatic-Hai, it looked really messy, but maybe, just maybe, they can pull this off.
Okay, here comes Ru Jaehong. See if he wants to run it down left.
I mean, it all comes down to this play. If they can pull off the Talon play, no matter how scrappy it looked, doesn't matter anymore.
Well, they have a lot of time.
They executed it well. EMP's going to come down. That's going to be the Death Blossom thrown out.
Only Architect, though.
Already falls, but that's the only one that they get, as you say. Eska will be entering into that Wraith form, trying to take himself out to safety, but Gamsu's there to follow up. Sound Barrier comes down for CONBOX Spirit as they try to regain control over the point. So far, the first tick has still eluded Lunatic-Hai, but they want to stick in this one. They still have a multitude of ultimates to use to try to take this. Sound Barrier going to be one of them, as it does come down first and foremost. Stick comes in onto Gamsu as he pops that Primal Rage to keep himself alive.
Looks like
Struck thrown out, not going to find anything.
Looks like they're going to try to re-engage here. Zubair's out of the mech now. Gamsu buying a lot of time right now. Looking for that hacked health pack, unfortunately not able to find it. Zumba going to steal it here as he goes back into the point. Need to get more picks than this, though.
Yeah, Asher has that Pulse Bomb ready to go. Can just follow in onto Eska to try to take him out. Throws down the Pulse Bomb!
Nice!
And what goes up must come down, or in this case, what goes into Wraith form must come out of it. And Eska, with nowhere else to go, does get taken out. And that's going to be the assault halted by CONBOX Spirit. First tick unobtained.
And this isn't that horrible for them. You know, you say it's all about this push, and it certainly is, but now they could have 2, 3 more of them because they had such a large time bank to work with. So I like the big commitment in there, even though at the end of the day it started to kind of fizzle out and looked like a train wreck at its very last stage there. They can make this happen because they have such a large time bank. Twilight, hyper aggressive there.
Yeah, really playing with
Gets
fire.
this back, finally, this health pack hacked here for them, which is so important.
Piling in on the point now is Lunatic-Hai coming down from the left side. EMP immediately thrown out here by CONBOX Spirit. And Architect finds the first kill. Jaehong going down. Keto and Esko both following suit. Zumba popped out. Will be finished off, and now it's just Miro desperately trying to keep himself alive. And if they can get him, it'd be a nice little stagger, but Architect doesn't want to chase that far forward. Get caught by the respawning members of Lunatic-Hai. Right now, it's just a delay game from CONBOX Spirit.
This is okay for Lunatic-Hai because this is mostly an eco push for them. Eska got hacked, so couldn't escape, but still built up a decent amount of his ult charge. The really big issue is that Ryujung doesn't have his EMP, but he's going to have it much faster than Eska even will at 56. So, again, these are okay moves for Lunatic-Hai. When they fail maybe 2, 3 more times, we get down to 1 minute 30 territory. That's when you start to worry about the strategy. Might be time to switch at that stage. Perhaps before then, if the next push fails.
Twilight backing off yet again. Just trying to work his way up towards that EMP. Nearly has it, 66 to about 60% there from Jaehong. So it's a battle of inches, really, as far as which Sombra can get it up, can get that EMP ready to go and drop it first. Sound Barrier coming down here for Lunatic-Hai. Architect drawing out the Dragon Blade, not going to be able to find too much, and the health pack is not there. So Miro zaps his way to a kill, but Eska's been taken down. So not building up any more for that Death Blossom. You can see Lunatic-Hai wanting to stick with this strat, will just be kiting back. And they're suffering losses on the exit as Jaehong goes down.
Just feels like some miscommunication that Toby would use the sound barrier there that wasn't designed to really pair with anything. Perhaps they thought that was going to be the push, but it just simply wasn't. Eska didn't even have ult, still only at 82%. So, again, burning that time down, 220. I think they've got one more chance to make this specific Talon comp work. If it doesn't, I think it's probably time to change and try to go for one more different type of composition. Twilight already has the EMP, he's just waiting for this moment. He knows the Talon push, the big Death Blossom combo is coming soon. He knows the ults are very likely to be available, so he's just holding on to that EMP for the critical moment. We have so many ults to work with, CONBOX does, so I don't know if this is going to be the one for Lunatic-Hai, but they have one more opportunity with this. Eska's still 10% away, just being very safe, very conservative as he pokes in, looking for that last elusive 10%.
Jaehong in a bad spot, trying to push in. Will go ahead, drop down the EMP, but there's not going to be any follow-up. Eska just now finding the Death Blossom, but he has EMP'd himself from Twilight. Now the sound barrier is thrown down. They find the opening pick, getting rid of the enemy Sombra. But Lunatic-Hai still having struggles pushing further into this.
Didn't pair the EMP with the Death Blossom. Eska uses it
He
here,
dropped
completely
it, and
useless.
He just dropped it, he gets killed by Asher. Eska, what are you thinking? Wastes the Death Blossom
So wasteful.
completely.
No combo there. Still getting a few picks here. They need to get more if they want to actually snowball this. Asher gets the kill here on Nagito, which is going to really hurt them. Every kill is worth more for CONBOX than it is for Lunatic-Hai. They need to get those consistent picks without dying.
Yep.
The lost health pack here, a big problem for
Another
Lunatic-Hai.
EMP ready to go here from the side of Twilight as well. Can just hold on to this because they're just continuously finding these one after one picks. Get the hack on the health pack yet again, and Eska says, all right, screw it, we're done with this. I'm moving over to the Soldier. Expect Jaehong to swap. Yep, he's going to be moving over to that Zenyatta as well to try something a bit more standard. But this is at 45 seconds. Transcendence is a far cry.
Yeah,
home.
it really, really is.
Okay,
I mean,
that's the Ana, so he's swapping it again.
still, I mean, the nano is something that may happen, but it's very unlikely. Lunatic-Hai is so hell-bent on this strategy, not willing to change, so stubborn in this until the last moment. And the longer they tried to force it to work in that last push instead of just resetting, burned their time so much more. They don't have really anything to work with here. That's going to have to be dumb luck and a good pulse bomb, but Twilight's got the EMP.
Yeah,
here it
pushing
is.
in, drops it down right on the left side by the Catacombs, and Architect has the Dragon Blade ready to go. Eska, the first one that goes down. Biotic Grenade connects, but he still cuts down Jaehong, 42 HP. Getting top back up, will die in the end. Can't make his way
one's
through
nearby.
that Winston, but there you go. The hold on point B.
You know,
CONBOX Spirit looking really good on the defense, and Lunatic-Hai inflexible.
and this is something that I, in my research for Lunatic-Hai, especially even going into their previous set against Panthera, I had written in my notes, looking at all the compositions I'd seen them run, is they're just unwilling to be flexible. When they have a strategy, they stick to it no matter what. Sometimes in compositions where they're up against a Pharah with no hit scan, they just don't swap. They end up losing on control, things like that. And in this situation, they just kept trying to make it work. And Eska was so slow. He was so unable to build that Death Blossom. It took ages. That burned the time. The fight that they continued to contest with took so long. They weren't just willing to say, okay, let's all just die here. They spent like 30 more seconds contesting the point. Then the late swaps came in. Didn't have tools to use there. And
Yeah.
felt lackluster.
And obviously the swap situation, that scenario, is not just an Eska problem. That's the team communicating. Somebody saying like, no, we can still run this composition, we can make this work, rather than just trying to say like, okay, let's do something more consistent. So that's not entirely an Eska thing, but using the Death Blossom when he was basically dead versus a Tracer, desperation move, and loses it completely off of that. That ruins the Talon composition, ruins any potential that it has, and then those late swaps come in where it's just too late to build up any more ultimates on these new heroes that you're picking. So it was just disjointedness from Lunatic-Hai, completely just fully investing in a composition that clearly was not gaining them any ground. So overall, very poor from Lunatic-Hai, and CONBOX Spirit are poised to win this.
Yeah, I mean, definitely have an edge, right? Let's not call it too early.
I mean, we need one hell of a defense from Lunatic-Hai just to deny that first cap. If they can do that, cool. Otherwise, 33% is all that we need to see for CONBOX.
Pretty basic, right? And
So
they have, obviously, we'll see how the first cap goes, but they're going to have a decent chance. The momentum is certainly in their favor, too. Well, let's not call it over before it's over. Eska going to be sticking with the Widowmaker here on defense, as we are going to see just the Sonic Arrow come out for Architect as he switches back to the standard dive. They 2-2-2 the way in here. Twilight going to be the secondary support, so it's kind of triple DPS, but this is what Twilight does on this map, and we'll see if he can make it happen. Not going to be Talon, just straight Sombra for the backpack here.
yeah, he's trying to scout out. It's a jump back, so it's going to be pretty far away from the rest of his squad as CONBOX seeks to wrap around that left-hand flank, move up onto the high ground by the bridge. Sleep Dart connects in onto Sleepy Bear, as Eska is just firing away, but the bubble will mitigate a lot of these shots from the Widowmaker.
Unable to find any damage. CONBOX respecting the Widowmaker right now, not diving in. They're just waiting for Twilight's EMP. 80% there.
Gets a bit of a hit there.
Super aggressive from Twilight, but he's just safe enough every time.
Well, now we just have a fight up here on the high ground as they start pushing forward. Asher will go down as Guido wins out on the Tracer battle. Sleepy Bear going low, dashes in He is able to pick up
Eska doing his
health pack for a
his best
second.
soldier impression here on the Widowmaker.
And spamming his way to success in the meantime. That first tick getting ready to come through for the side of CONBOX Spirit. Nearly have it, but haven't quite gotten it.
It wasn't the money EMP that Twilight was looking for. He's got plenty of time to build another one. And the next one he has is going to be paired with more ultimates, the Primal Rage, the Dragon Blade potentially. Can't really credit Eska for the defense, it's really been his teammates, but the threat of Widowmaker forces positioning mistakes, which we've seen out of CONBOX Spirit.
And Foresight coming through. We're looking to play around these corners. Yeah, finds that shot in on the deflect there from Architect, and now getting jumped on by Twilight on the backside. We'll be able to finish him off. Translocates a bit too short, but still just sprays down Guido. Just finds the kill, drops in with the EMP. Might pay for that one with his life, but all going to be worth it. And he still is alive at the end of the day as Architect starts slicing away with that Dragon's Blade. Helps find the 2 kill. Will be taken down in the end by Miro, who's going to be trying to delay as best as possible.
Nice
has to get himself
self-destruct.
away from that self-destruct. To zone them back off the point as that first tick has come through here for CONBOX Spirit. He'll still start coming in, but they're trading back and forth a bit too evenly.
Sleepy Bear picks the double here. Lunatic-Hai has Zumba's self-destruct, potentially buy time. Are they going to actually commit for this? Yes, they will. Coming in now, controlling the point. Twilight nowhere near another EMP. All they have now is the sound barrier.
Yeah, they for sure want to fight this one. The sound barrier does come down. Zumba, they try to zone them back with that self-destruct. And actually just fires away, takes out Sleepy Bear in that Baby Diva form. And now CONBOX struggling quite a bit, haven't made it to that second tick. Barrier comes down from Gamsu to keep himself safe, and Eska and Guido have both gone down. So Lunatic-Hai losing out on their DPS members. Several others going low as well. Ryo Jae-Hung does drop that EMP, trying to deny as much as possible, but they cannot stop this push from coming through. So the cap is there. 5 minutes on the clock. A couple kills staggered, and CONBOX Spirit, do they just want to pile in for this one?
Gamsu was the king of that last fight, man. Just controlling things with that bubble. Also getting really good peel for his teammates, plus the consistent damage. Forcing Lunatic-Hai to spread, not have the synergy with their ultimates they wanted. Lunatic-Hai's going to get several picks here, though, so we'll stop the next attack. Remember, it's only the first tick that CONBOX Spirit does need for this.
I mean, there's some really crucial ones there, actually, though. Twilight desperately trying to get the hack on the 200 HP health pack underneath that little bridge. Isn't able to get it. Has to settle for the one further back towards their spawn. So can't be as reliant on that forward healing on the map. Will be pushing in, drops down the translocator. Does Winnie go in for the EMP is the question.
He's just looking for an opportunity. If it's there, it's there, and it's there now. Here's the Dragon Blade.
This one out. Architect goes in with the Dragon Blade, takes out Eska even through the sound barrier, finds that kill. Trying to hound down Toby, but cannot get him because Miro is sticking to him like glue. Guido pops Sleepy Bear here out of the mech, and Gamsu falls, so no tanky front line for CONBOX Spirit. They try on that push, and they fail. And this is just time bought for Lunatic-Hai.
Just a very efficient hold for Lunatic-Hai, too, because they're going to need all the ultimates they can get to hold this, hold this to force an overtime. And, I mean, it's basically, for them, just winning these fights without using ultimates, using the hacks from Ryo Jae-Hung. His EMP is going to be one they want to consistently use because it builds so quickly. So, a good start for them, but it's going to be a lot longer of a battle for them as we move forward. It's just the first step of about 5 they're going to have to defend.
Yeah, need to try to bait some of these ultimates out away from Lunatic-Hai. While simultaneously building up their own. Twilight working towards that EMP yet again, 54%. Should have it in just a little bit. A couple more flank runs, and we'll have that one available.
Okay, so Twilight without the EMP, but we'll have it soon. They just want to bait some ults from Lunatic-Hai here as they go for their own eco pushes. It's going to be the Architect Dragon Blade again. I think they want to pair with this. Might see the EMP come out first anyways. Twilight's very close to it, 90% now. The question is, do they commit to it without the Dragon Blade, without Primal Rage? Looks like they want to. Here comes Twilight again with that defensive translocator as he looks for the money one.
Jae-Hung hovering around the back. The self-destruct comes through.
Architect with the kill on Eska.
Architect yet does open up one
nice
on
EMP.
Eska. EMP from both sides with the sound barrier comes down here for CONBOX Spirit as they start pushing in. Pulse bomb out from Guido. Helps knock Zumba out of the mech, but can they get more? Zumba gets taken down. Twilight finds Toby, and again, they just need the 33%. Already halfway there is CONBOX Spirit, but they suffer a couple losses as Overwatch, the solo healer, does go down, and Lunatic-Hai with the help of Eska on that tack visor, will hold.
So close there, and had they had the Dragon Blade with that EMP, you have to imagine 100% that works, but they were just a little bit trigger happy. Now, Twilight's nearly at another EMP, so it's okay, but patience is a virtue, as they say, and I feel like it's just not on the side of CONBOX. So again, Architect pokes his head out too long. Now he's going to have that staggered respawn, burning more and more time is Lunatic-Hai. They used a lot of ultimates for that defense, but because of the staggered respawn now of Architect, they have time to build a little bit more. Gamsu sitting up here has the Primal Rage. Architect with the Dragon Blade. This is it. This is the money push for CONBOX. All they need is the tick.
I mean, they went away for this last EMP. Twilight now at 95%. Can poke it one more time, get this built up, and that should be the go button.
This has got to be it.
There we go. He does have it available.
Okay, coming in. He drops in. Nice angle.
The EMP. Yeah, finds several in the Primal Rage. Immediately comes out here from
Dragon Blade.
Dragon Blade drawn out, answered by the sound barrier, but Zumba will get popped out of the back first and foremost for the side of CONBOX Spirit as they try to follow up with the kill. J-Hong going down. Zumba still running around, and Baby Diva form will be cut down as Architect finds the melee hit. Now looking for Eska as he tries to kite back into the spawn. Doesn't make it out with his life. Gamsu is able to zap him to death in the end, but now Miro
so many ults for Lunatic-Hai. So many ults for them here. They still have some time they can buy here. Ru-Jae-Hong's own EMP comes out. Miro with the Primal Rage.
Finds the kill onto Asher. Now Tito looking for the pulse bomb. Can just toss this one out and try to pop the Diva out of the back. Dashing around looking for a juicier target. Has that health pack to keep himself topped off, and so far Lunatic-Hai are doing a good job of holding on to this one. Sleepy Bear knocked into the back yet again. Self-destruct will be thrown down, doesn't find any kills, and Gamsu is taken out. Sleepy Bear down. Twilight finds Toby, but it's still not enough. They need so much more as Architect goes in with the Dragon Blade, trying to open something up here for his team, but only finds the one kill and has to get himself out to safety.
12 seconds left on this one. Lunatic-Hai look poised to hold, but Zumba does get knocked out here.
Kill him yet again. CONBOX Spirit getting ready to go into overtime. Just need that 33%, but so
EMP.
far it has been eluding them. Twilight throws down the EMP yet again as Toby falls. Gamsu finding the kill, and Gamsu pushing back forward. Does not have that tactical visor, but can still offer up quite a bit of damage, just pumping round after round into the sidelines of these enemy tanks. But Miro has fallen. Zumba going down. Can this be it? CONBOX Spirit, they still don't have the point to themselves. The May coming through from Toby, the delay tactics in full desperation mode from Lunatic-Hai. Self-destruct is here by Sleepy Bear. If they can just get rid of that May.
There's the EMP.
Try to throw it down. EMP out here from J.
No self-destruct. Oh, he gets it.
Not going to be there. Cannot throw it out. And maybe that's it for Lunatic-Hai. Can they complete this one? Gamsu still very tanky. Leaping over to the side. Doesn't have the Primal Rage. Going dangerously low. Will be finished off. And that is going to be it. Lunatic-Hai, they complete the hold on point B.
So well done. So well timed there. It was just, unfortunately, CONBOX Spirit couldn't get the picks they needed after they had the initial push. Lunatic-Hai so passive on ultimate usage. When the push hit around 30 to 40 seconds, that final push, the money push we were talking about, Lunatic-Hai had Primal Rage available, the self-destruct, so much on their side to defend it, but they actually just bought time over and over and over again with the respawns. They held onto those ultimates until the very end. May comes out, they get a few picks there. They bought enough time with that no ult defense into the ult defense for a second EMP to come out from Ru-Jae-Hong. That sealed the deal. That was it. What a sick defense there. With the cards stacked against them, with the extraneous circumstances of not even able to get the first tick, Lunatic-Hai is still able to match it and lock it down. Very impressive play.
Absolutely insane. These guys going the distance, keeping this series so very close, and CONBOX unable to really get beyond 15% there. Needed the full 33. Just could not quite find it. There was good delays at the start of that by Lunatic-Hai as well to hold off as long as humanly possible on point A. Really drain down that clock. But in the end, they get the hold. And things are just neck and neck between these two teams, which, if you had asked me a week ago, would not have been my prediction at all. We would fully have expected Lunatic-Hai to be in control of the situation, but it is not to be at the moment.
Big question now is going to be, where are we going for CONBOX Spirit on to Escort? So they've been really good at keeping things together on the push. The miracle push we saw on Hollywood, for example, was pretty amazing. So looks like we have a bit of a technical problem here with Zumba. So it looks like here perhaps a mouse or keyboard issue. But anyways, it's tough to pick here what map you're going to go to because Lunatic-Hai always good at the dive. They always have been maybe a little bit weaker than they were before. Now that Who Are You is not in the picture. Saw the Hollywood worked really well in terms of the payload pushing. So if you want to go to a map that has a really easy streets phase, perhaps you want to go to Route 66 after you get past that initial phase there with getting past Big Earls. You have a fairly easy push there through kind of the old Western style streets phase. So that could be an opportunity. So let's see what they pick once the technical pause is completed. We will have the map.
There's a lot of things to be decided, but first we do have that
Oh, that's right, the tiebreaker. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so neither team making it to that 33% mark. So this does result in a best-of-1 tiebreaker on a random map. In this case, it's going to be University here on Oasis.
That's right, they didn't actually have the first cap. They just had to cap it to win it. My apologies.
I mean, it was such a hype
They got
map,
caught up in the hype.
so it's quite all right. But now it comes down to this because, again, winner of this will be taking the lead, will be having match point in the series, and will be deciding that payload map as you were talking about.
That's right. So
a lot of pressure here to come out the victors. And, of course, Twilight, this is his comfort zone, going to be operating in on the Sombra, going up against Eskas.
yeah, this is going to be another thing that we talk about Twilight's usage of Sombra and how he defined this. This is another map where when he was first using it, we saw it on a lot of the time on Hanamura. It was like, okay, this is a cool thing you can do on Hanamura. And then suddenly he showed it on Oasis, especially here on University, and everyone was like, okay, this is kind of a thing. And we're going to see it again. He got the first one.
Twilight's going to be able to find it here for his squad, as everybody's just fighting on the low ground, something that we're not used to seeing. It's going to be a bloodbath as Architect finds the kill but goes down immediately thereafter. Overwatch finishing off Guido, and Asher just dashing around, finds Jaehong. It seems like CONBOX Spirit might have just come out on top of this one. The recall comes through as Asher will be able to exit safely. Meanwhile, back onto the high ground. The point is unlocked. The contest ready to come through, and CONBOX Spirit are there with open arms ready to get this first cap.
Okay, looks like picks are going on both sides here. Architect, though, getting the pick here on Guido. I mean, the health pack, obviously, advantage goes to CONBOX with Twilight grabbing that early, so that's going to be the edge they have. But they can't actually quite grab this first point. Jaehong again flexing over the Soldier with this triple DPS with Eska once again on that Sombra. He does go down now to Asher. It's a bloodbath.
I mean, despite everything else, Eska still had the first CMP, was able to drop that one out, which helped level the playing field. But in the end here, CONBOX Spirit finally do get that first cap coming through for them. But it might be a very swift retake. You can already see Lunatic-Hai starting to tick that one up, but Eska goes down yet again with the EMP, and that's Twilight dropping his own. Jumps back over onto that high ground. Architect with the Dragon Blade just chops down 1, 2, finds Jaehong, looking for a little bit more. Has to try to get away from that self-destruct, but will just be zapped to death by Miro. But that's going to be the Primal Rage out, as Miro just keeps dipping in and out of the low ground, back onto the point to try to get this cap.
Yep, so Miro, Primal Rage expires here, but will it be enough to grab the cap? He gets the health pack, and it looks like it will be the retake. That's the pick on the Gamsu as well.
They still need a little bit more. I mean, CONBOX Spirit, they want to hold on to this, and now Sleepy Bear coming back in will have that self-destruct ready to go, but the cap does get completed by Lunatic-Hai in the meantime. Jaehong throwing out that tac visor, gets the kill onto Oporochi.
Okay, so in terms of this cap now for Lunatic-Hai, they didn't use too much to get it, so they have an EMP available. Twilight will soon, but they're going to have a lot of defensive setups here. As Architect now on the Genji looks to build that Dragon Blade. Oh, nice pick here on the Twilight with Jaehong's help there. That's good communication. When you see someone kind of blind shot across like that, that is pretty impressive. Eska just saying, okay, he's over there, fire that, I'm on him. And you get that kind of blind shot. It looks like it was lucky, but it was definitely communicated there.
Take that one away, and Asher, he's looking to sneak around the backhand side, has that pulse bump ready to go. Wants to find the likes of Toby, preferably when he's standing next to somebody else.
Yeah.
But he will be spotted now.
Just gonna hold on to it for now.
EMP comes down, not sure how many members that one got there for Twilight as they start piling in, but Architect's gonna fall first and foremost right before the sound barrier hits. Crucial pickoff here for Lunatic-Hai as they look for success on this hold. And it seems like they're going to be finding it one after the other. CONBOX Spirit members fall, and they're going to have to regroup, and Lunatic-Hai has since taken the lead in this map. 70% on the horizon to the 40 that CONBOX got.
Yeah, so Lunatic-Hai poised to continue the defense now. Zebear has the self-destruct. He can push in with this Gamsu, of course. With his Primal Rage, there's definitely several ways they can take it, but if they don't make it happen with this one right now, this could be disastrous. As you do see, here's the flank for Asher, trying to force something here. Toby is the target, doesn't even have the sound barrier.
Can't quite get him because they're just going to go ahead and drop in onto the low ground, whereas CONBOX, they want to be contesting the high ground, so Pulse Bomb comes through, but seems like that one got eaten. Not going to be finding anything there for the troubles. EMP does get dropped down. See how much follow-up there's going to be for the side of Lunatic-Hai.
So many tools for CONBOX Spirit now. They have the self-destruct and the Dragon Blade. Dragon Blade's going to kill Eska. That's the first
draws
step.
This one out. He's looking for a little bit more. Finds Jae-Hong. One more slice to take out Toby.
Toby gets the kill!
He kills him with the boom, and it's in overtime. Lunatic-Hai looking to just go ahead and close this one out right here, but the recap does finally come down from CONBOX Spirit as they get zoned back. Toby trying to retreat. Seems like he will be able to do so successfully. Will not die, will not have the stagger. Lunatic-Hai have a bit of time to work with here. 53% all that there's there for CONBOX Spirit.
And CONBOX Spirit is going to have to hold on to this one hard. Eska's EMP is going to be the first thing they're going to be worried about. Twilight himself is flexed into the Soldier. Just going to be the sub-supports flexed into Soldier Day today here at Apex. Attack Visor is available. They've got a lot of tools. Eska now finally with that EMP. If they take it for just 1 second, that's it. Sound Barrier is already used early here for CONBOX. Holding on to that EMP until the perfect moment.
Yeah,
this is
Eska
going to be
getting
it.
jumped on. He's got so many members surrounding him, and he's going to die. CONBOX Spirit will maintain control for now.
You got to respect the patience in a moment like this because they still have that extra time. They've got 20% of time worth to work with. It's going to be the big 6 coming in here. Miro, notwithstanding, he's almost got his Primal Rage. If the fight extends, he definitely will have it. There's so many tools now for Lunatic-Hai. You have to imagine with this much, they have to get the flip. Here's the Pulse Bomb.
Pulse Bomb comes through, does get eaten right off the bat. Beautiful by Zumba to flip to the side and deny that stick from coming through. A major opening for them. EMP dropped down now by Eska as they start pushing in. Sleepy Bear knocked out of the back. Attack Visor out from Jae-Hong. Comes up with 2 kills. As they get rid of the next, Sleepy Bear will go down. The flip comes through, and now in double overtime, 99% each. CONBOX Spirit just getting starved out as it's only Twilight left in this point. And Lunatic-Hai,
there you
the
go.
tiebreaker comes through. They go to Oasis, they win it out, and now they're at match point over CONBOX Spirit.
Just really nice patience there with the time they had, the old lead that they knew that they had. Baited out the sound barrier early, then the Pulse Bomb got eaten, so these tools went away for CONBOX Spirit. And Eska just held on to that EMP. Was a little bit worried for Eska staying on the Sombra after we saw it on Hollywood, but he's definitely evolved in this series. You can tell he's been practicing it with this new situation that Lunatic-Hai has with Guido now forced to be on the roster for reasons unknown. But the flexibility of even Ru Jae-Hong going into the Soldier, this seems to be very well practiced for this specific match. It's working really well for them. The head-to-head in Sombra is definitely an exciting one, and it feels like it's very back and forth. So going back to what I was saying earlier, where I had it incorrectly, of course, called that Lunatic-Hai had taken the map. We did go through the tiebreaker. Same sort of ideas do apply here. Let's see if CONBOX wants to take us to Route 66.
I don't know, a lot of decisions to be made here. CONBOX, something like a player swap, not likely to be seen. Dongsu still waiting in on the bench. This is the squad that they have looked the best with. This is the squad they're going to stick with. But still, not seeing that pause come through.
Well, with Lunatic-Hai not having a good Genji player, either Dorado or Route 66 is going to be good for the early game because you're going to have that high ground that's a little bit tougher to dive in, even though Miro's an amazing Winston. I think you really just don't, you want to go anywhere but Gibraltar here if you're thinking about how Lunatic-Hai plays to get the edge. But they're going to Gibraltar anyway. It's Jibby time.
No, there is no Jibby.
There is Jibby, man. That's right there.
There's only Gibraltar.
It's Jibby forehead. We're going. Here we go. So, dive not as strong to, like, the impact that dive makes on attacking the high ground isn't as important here. So we're not going to be seeing Architect popping off to really control that high ground like we would have seen on Attack on Dorado, like we would have seen on Route 66. So that's my main qualm with this. Obviously, the dive is going to be really important once we get into the hangar and going around that first checkpoint where you have to control the high ground once you push underneath that, the little bridge there, that little low ground dip. I don't know exactly what to call it, but you guys know what I'm talking about before the first checkpoint. Dive can be quite strong there too. It's an unusual map pick here, perhaps a specific strategy that CONBOX has been saving here for Escort, given the situation. But it's a risk they take in the losers match on match point now. Lunatic-Hai just 1 win away. Starting to feel the Sombra synergy, starting to feel like the Guido triple DPS with Rujeong flexing. It looked a little bit shaky at first, but now it looks like you could tell they've been practicing it well prepared.
Yeah. Well, could all come down to this one right here for CONBOX Spirit for Lunatic-Hai, as we are on match point Gibraltar. Potentially the final map of this set. Winner goes on to face Luxury Watch Blue in a weakened state. So almost helps guarantee that semi-final spot.
Yeah.
Can they find it is
it's
the question.
It's gonna be tough for LW Blue, but that's the next step here. Easy advantage for whoever wins this series. It's a very tough, hard-fought win, but now Lunatic-Hai has the advantage. They have match point. CONBOX Spirit with an unusual map pick on Gibraltar. Can they bring it back? Can we go to another hybrid map? Or is Lunatic-Hai going to close it out right now? Let's find out on Gibraltar.
I get it.
All right, trying to close things out nice and strong here is Lunatic-Hai, is the fans here to represent them. They'll be
Here we
starting things
go.
off on attack.
Toby on the Widow,
Yeah.
a dream come true.
Everything I've always wanted.
Definitely a different skill set to the Lucio.
Just a bit. There's a few minute differences. You know, I mean, grapple hook, wall ride, they're basically the same thing. They get you places.
Yeah, left click, I mean, a little bit faster, a little bit weaker, but I mean, you still aim and try to shoot people in the head. You know, the boop and the poison darts,
They're very similar.
yeah.
You can tell that Blizzard was running out of ideas when it came to Lucio and Widowmaker. There's like, I guess we'll just copy the same.
Yeah,
person.
exactly. I
Skin
mean,
them a little bit
it's very,
differently.
it's very obvious that the traps that Widowmaker can lay are just to scare people into accidentally jumping off the side, just like a boop.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this
Jaehong.
is silly. I mean, and also cute. He just wants to get up there so bad. Okay, collects himself, gets back into this.
He's like a puppy desperately trying to crawl in the bed.
So,
Can't quite make it. It's just not tall enough. But here
so
we go.
Toby on the Mercy here, but it's not a pharmacy comp. He's going to be boosting the DPSs here. At least that's what it looks like initially. It was on Eska for just a moment.
See just how far back CONBOX are actually playing here.
Yeah, perhaps scared of the attack Rujeong Widow that we've seen a lot on Hollywood. It's just going to be a more standard comp minus the Mercy here.
Showing a lot of respect, though. So we'll be getting a nice firm push. Looks like they want to contest into the underpass. At least have that bit of a choke position that they can work around. High ground is going to be conceded as they do finally jump down onto the payload. And start the fight. Jaehong going to be the first one that gets picked off as Gamsu finishes off that Zenyatta. Sleeping Bear will be able to exit safely, keeping himself alive and in the mech.
Push continues here. CONBOX Spirit didn't build too many ult charges with this hold either. Very conservative, though. Going to have to commit it when it matters here at the checkpoint. The boost is coming into Eska yet again, trying to find that extra damage. The res is going to be a huge tool as well, even though this isn't normally what we see, is you don't have the Pharah for extra mobility, and still be quite strong in terms of extra DPS and the healing that leads to the resurrects. No one's dealt with Toby so far, as he's already got that res available. He's actually ironically the first to have an ultimate in this game.
Yeah, which means that the rest of his team can play a bit crazily far forward. He has to play still conservatively so he can keep himself alive for that massive res.
Lunatic-Hai showing really big creativity in this series so far without the
boy.
Genji.
So that's going to be the Nano Blade coming through already. Architect finds Jaehong. The res comes through to try to keep him alive, but Eska falls, as does Toby. Jaehong yet again will be cut down, so the res from Toby not going to do a damn thing. 3 members fall. And CONBOX Spirit come up with a very nice hold.
Only using the Nano Blade to do this. They got the res for it, so it ends up being really nice for them. They let the push go really far, but all that really matters for this push is that last moment where you get the checkpoint. The respawn's obviously pretty long coming back.
Toby's like, whatever. Mercy's overrated. I'll just go ahead and swap over to my Lucio.
It feels like you can really feel Lunatic-Hai has brought some unique strategies to the table because they don't have Genji for the dive. They're really being creative here. Mid-air sleep dart.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Yeah, that, you're just dead to rights in that circumstance. Primal Rage popped out here by Gamsu. Will be going low. Can he leap out? The safety answer is going to be yes. Keeps himself alive. Eska sprinting back over here will be able to pick up that health pack, but yet again, Lunatic-Hai getting stopped out just a bit as they keep working up towards these ultimates. 4 at the moment. Toby nearly with that sound barrier ready to go.
Another Nano Blade is almost ready too. Pulse Bomb here, gonna whiff by Asher.
A pretty crucial miss there. As far as
Lunatic-Hai
is concerned, Tac Visor does come through here. Eska firing away, but he's got so many big tanky members up in his face, and you can see that sound barrier there just helping to chew through that damage. Keep everybody topped off. Architect goes forward with the help of Asher, and they finish off Eska, and yet again, CONBOX Spirit just trying to hold on to this point. Payload's pushing still right in front of the station. They will be able to complete it.
Architect unfortunately unable to find any kills with that. Twilight didn't use the nano boost, so the Dragon Blade wasn't as strong as it could have been. Lunatic-Hai is just able to take the more consistent fight, mind you, without using the majority of their ultimates. And Jaehong going to switch over to the Sombra now. Toby sticks with the Lucio, so looking for just more and more Sombra play. I swear, it's like Sombra's viable on every map now. It's like, well, almost every map. It's getting closer and closer to.
Well,
we've seen it in everyone.
He's slipping back through. We'll be going over to the
okay.
Ana now. So yeah, not sticking exactly with the Sombra. They still want to be able to have that healing. Maybe even just match Nano Blade for Nano Boost for Nano Boost. Think of it. See one come through there from Twilight. Miro jumps in.
Taking a nap.
Yeah, he will be taking a nap. Does have the Primal Rage if he has to pop to stay alive, but Jaehong gets picked off on the backside as Asher finds that Pulse Bomb. Gamsu is pushing in, trying to finish off Toby. Will be able to do so with the help of Architect.
Yeah,
and
Twilight
a very
with the
nice
nano.
hold.
Saves the nano, doesn't want to use it for Architect, uses it for Gamsu instead, and ends up being a pretty viable tactic. But they're out of ultimates now, as Lunatic-Hai looks for the regroup. Because Ryujong keeps switching, and now switching on to the Zenyatta. They're not going to have any support ultimates, but they have other tools to try to secure this.
You can see the CONBOX are actually playing back away from the choke points. This hangar, a bit like Eichenwald pre-nerf on the castle door, when it would be completely caved in. Now you have that extra opening to help out. Getting back into the hangar can be pretty oppressive, but CONBOX Spirit, they want to play back. They want to let them come to them. But it's not working out so far as Twilight does go down. OVERWATCH playing in onto the point will be taken down as Jaehong's back over onto that Zenyatta, has the Discord Orbs, and they make very quick work of that Lucio.
Only the Primal Rage used with this push too, and they're just getting kills. Otherwise, vanilla here as Miro gets the kill on the Sleepy Bear, and the push continues. CONBOX with nothing available to stop this, with self-destruct here and the Tac Visor. Looks like this is just going to be clean through to point B. They might do a last-minute contest, but it could cost them big if it fails. Look at this, Eska on top of the
really
shuttle.
Nice angle here. Yeah, OVERWATCH going to be the first one that goes down, and Architect will follow suit, finds that kill. Sleepy Bear going to be knocked out of the mech, taken down immediately by Miro, and Gamsu will fall. And that'll be the completion here on to point B. 2 minutes, 40 seconds remaining for Lunatic-Hai as the staggering kills still keep coming through.
Yeah, the staggering kill's a big problem here. I guess you could argue that they forced out the Tac Visor from Eska, but they didn't get anything else with that big attempted stop there on the checkpoint. So not only do they get the checkpoint anyways, but they get a free push right through the doorway as well. This is going to be the hard point to complete here on Gibraltar. CONBOX is building up those ultimates, but they need to make sure they use them together.
Gonna be the crucial combo here, but Eska already taken out. Gamsu playing way too far forward, not respecting that Discord Orb, and Jaehong comes up with that killing blow. Asher trying to poke it from the side, does have that Pulse Bomb ready to go, but Jaehong comes up with yet another kill, and this payload is just moving relatively unhindered as Lunatic-Hai just wreaks havoc on these members of CONBOX Spirit. Twilight,
Dominance.
nowhere to go, completely surrounded, will be taken down.
Eska with the Helix rockets behind the wall there too. Here's the last minute self-destruct to try to block this. Unfortunately, not really successful here for Sleepy Bear. Sound barrier now also being used. Lunatic-Hai holding onto those ultimates to the last moment. Better ult economy here. We talked about it throughout the series.
Kill thrown down, Pulse Bomb not going to connect. Asher just whiffing out on that one, and Gamsu goes down. Sleepy Bear popped out of the back yet again, but Architect in the backside does have the Dragon Blade, cuts down
Used
Eska,
alone though,
but will get taken down. Like you said, he's completely alone. No one there to follow up, and now Zumba throwing out the self-destruct to zone everybody back. Actually finds OVERWATCH for his troubles, and Miro's there to just smack everybody away from the payload as they look to complete this rolling into the station. 3 meters left to go, and there you have it. Gamsu unable to tag it in time yet again.
you just see the mechanical skill come out. We're seeing Eska hit these Helix rockets. They just win these fights without using ultimates. The ult economy is better as a result. You see, CONBOX comes out of the spawns, Dragon Blade alone, self-destruct alone. If they had just regrouped for a moment, they had enough time. It wasn't like, if they didn't go in right now, then it was going to be the completion. If they had just regrouped and used ultimates together, it could have been better. So, only the better ult economy from Lunatic-Hai because of their just mechanical skill, not needing to use the ultimates to get kills. but CONBOX Spirit was just not syncing their ultimates together, and Lunatic-Hai just waited and waited and waited. It was only at the last second where they had the perfect angle for Zumba's self-destruct, gets a kill. Miro, after that, waits until that's done. He staggers in. He's got his Primal Rage to secure the push, so really well done here by Lunatic-Hai. It was a pretty stable push throughout. Now CONBOX Spirit, what are they going to show us? This was their map pick, an unusual one. They have an unusual strat, or are they just going to play standard? It would be disappointing for such an unusual map to be picked like this and them just try to play mechanically better than Lunatic-Hai without a plan.
Could maybe just be another assault here with Twilight on the Sombra. He's hovering that at the moment. Seems like maybe the entire team just wants to pay around the payload, keep stuck together so that you can get the maximum healing value out of Oporochi. But still going to be a bit risky. The initial flank points, not that many of them here available for Twilight, especially on the high ground.
Let's see exactly what CONBOX wants to run with, because I get the feeling this is just a draft in terms of what they're really going to be running. It's not the final version. There will be many revisions in this in this attack spawn. Looks like it's going to be Architect to start on the Widowmaker. Twilight going to look for the Scout for that as well. See how quickly the swaps come out, or if they stick with this.
Architect looking for a shot, not going to find anything.
Nope.
Immediately peels back with the grapple hook. And what a surprise! It's on the Genji.
Twilight sticks with the Sombra. Gonna look in for potentially that health pack hack. Doesn't get the hack on the Zumba.
Yeah, does find that one. So a nice little start, but Asher and Gamsu gonna die right off the bat. You can see Zumba knocked out of the back. Still staying alive though, no one able to kill him. And Miro there, just a body block, takes out Architect and Oporochi for the double kill.
Architect looks really frustrated. A lot of yelling going on here in the booth for CONBOX Spirit. They're trying to synergize this together, but this is not even pushed a little bit. Remember, CONBOX actually played back and played defensive, so Lunatic got a free push here, but they're struggling to get around the corner right now. Miro doing so much damage right now.
I mean, you can see that. I mean, Lunatic-Hai, they know their limits. They know when they can drop down on the low ground. We saw CONBOX playing way back behind the underpass, just with one or two members kind of poking forward. Whereas Lunatic-Hai, they operate on the high ground, they drop down as a team, and then they come up with a really nice time delay to start things off. They will be conceding some ground now as these kills start rolling through here for CONBOX Spirit, so good by them to finally get this payload moving. And they should be able to create quite a bit of distance here, maybe even push it beyond the underpass.
They have a nice lead in ults with this too, so even though Lunatic-Hai made a few mistakes there and it looked like, okay, this is just one small push, because they didn't use ults for it, they're going to have the EMP and Dragon Blade combo here. They use it together. It's almost ready. Dies before he can get it, unfortunately, though, so that's going to be potentially a reset here for the push.
Architect does find Toby. Now the attack visor's out from Eska, but there's a D.Va right in his face denying a lot of these hits from coming
Not
through.
long enough, though.
He drops down to the low ground, and actually Asher will be the one to pay for that.
Really nice defense there by Sleepy Bear, but unfortunately just couldn't manage it long enough. There was no one to relieve that pressure, and unfortunately we didn't see Asher run away in that moment. It's not the awareness.
Really playing with fire here, wants to get the kill in on the Sleepy Bear, who will just be jumping out into the ocean.
So many ults to work with to get this checkpoint, as I was saying before.
But now built up as well for
Exactly. So they couldn't actually make that happen. They wanted to have the EMP Dragon Blade. You could tell Twilight launched the translocator into the air, trying to bait out the Transcendence, trying to bait something out to have the opportunity for later on to have that big EMP, but Architect just wasn't ready yet. Twilight died before it could happen. So now they've got another shot at this, with literally all six, the big six in the books here.
Twilight trying to keep himself hidden, crouching in away from the windows.
Waiting for that dash.
Payload. It's now
we
going
go.
to be contested. He goes invisible, sprints around the side, has been spotted, drops the EMP.
Well
before
timed.
that, let's come through. Yeah, Architect rolling out that Dragon Blade, cuts down Eska for looking for a little bit more.
They need
but
more.
Transcendence was there. Payload still not moving, and it's a minute remaining, and now Asher and Oporochi both go down. Zuma does get popped out of the back, and Miro pops the Primal Rage right before dying, but Twilight has been killed off yet again. Gamsu with a Primal Rage of his own. Does find a kill on Takedo, but they lose out on Architect, and it's just going to be a battle of the apes as they try to fight over control, but with Gamsu going down, Lunatic-Hai will remain in control of this payload. 2.88 meters in front of point A with just 40 seconds remaining.
The sleep! Buys enough time to get the sleep! That's such a huge stagger, and now
dude.
the rollback.
Jaehong
And if you
doing
can't,
Jaehong things.
if you can't get a push very few meters. We're talking a really short distance with 6 ultimates. Maybe you're not going to semifinals. Maybe you fall down in the round of 8. Lunatic-Hai played that way better. Even with the perfect timing on the EMP and Dragon Blade, they couldn't get through. And now Lunatic-Hai finds himself with very few seconds left, 20 to defend. Only the self-destruct ready for CONBOX Spirit. They used everything, and it still came up empty.
Yeah, the rollback's coming through. There's no defensive ultimates here from CONBOX, not even anything to buy themselves time, like the self-destruct or the primal range. They will be pushing back forward. And see Zumba operating on the low ground, trying to keep that in contention as Gamsu goes forward, trying to get rid of Eska on that soldier who is now popping the tack visor.
Looking for Bex, gets the one!
Sleepy Bear gets rid of that baby Diva right off the bat, and now the overtime ticking through. They have to stick onto the point. Architect draws out the Dragon Blade,
EMP.
finds one kill, finds another one as he gets rid of Zumba, cuts down Guido, but can they complete this? A payload starts rolling in.
Another
the
hack.
contest now coming through, but it's really just Jaehong, the nano boost
Onto
down
Toby.
in onto Toby to try
He's
to
gonna have
keep him alive.
Transcendence.
He
He's gonna have
hasn't died
Transcendence.
yet, and he does have the Transcendence
So
available.
smart.
Just now popping this one, but the respawn's coming through from CONBOX Spirit. Maybe they can arrive in time to get the contention through. Sleepy Bear still sticking forward. Self-destruct thrown out. They're sitting inside the bubble. Keep themselves safe. No kills down there for Zumba, but Miro, maybe he can open something up with this Primal Rage.
Okay,
There
that's
it is.
it.
It doesn't even need it.
Doesn't
They just
need
stab
it.
him to death.
So sick to see that very impressive nano boost onto Toby. Buys him enough time. He calls it out. He yells. He says, "I'm at 98%. You boost me. I get it. I get the transcendence. I buy the time for the respawns." You never see the boosted Zenyatta. It's not a thing. It's not a strat. But in this specific moment, the ability to call that out, the decision making in that one moment, so clutch to see that come out from Yu Jaehong. Uses the defensive ultimate in this case. The transcendence comes out. And sadly, as I said before, CONBOX Spirit, like less than 10 meters or so away from that checkpoint, couldn't make it happen with 6 ults and 2 perfectly timed ones. You can't do that. You don't go to quarterfinals, so you don't go to semifinals. You fall out of the losers match here on the round of 8. It was a good run. They helped build the meta that shaped and defined what we see with Sombra play throughout this tournament, using it in promotions, as we saw other teams do it as well, sure. But they were the ones that use it the most consistently. Twilight, starting from promotions, using it even on Oasis. And we saw Sombra versus Sombra this entire best of 5 long, and feels like a shadow of what Twilight built is this team. And now that everyone else is good at it, it's not as special anymore, but you do have to give that respect to CONBOX Spirit. They fall down to the defending champions here. Most people expected that. It was the expected result. But at the end of the day, Lunatic-Hai played better. They had the defense there against the 6-man ultimate. And that's all she wrote. They take this series. There were definitely hardships in it. I think the big takeaway here for Lunatic-Hai is the flexibility that Ryu Jaehong has shown onto the Soldier, which is normally played by Zumba when Who Are You is in the roster. He can play that. He's played it well. Eska showing his very first televised Sombra match. Definitely took some time for him to warm up, you could say.
Yeah.
But it looked much better there at the end.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, still some hard moments there overall. Lunatic-Hai, our second tiebreaker that we've had in Season 3. Let's get handed to them by CONBOX Spirit, but in the end, they come up with the victory. They will be moving on to that final match to try to keep their hopes alive of moving on to the semifinals. LW Blue, a weakened one without Giannis on the roster.
Yeah,
So still, even without Who Are You, even with the team that was in the losers, the finals losers match here, they come in expected to take that set. Play of the game will be coming through, and it's from Architect, who did put on one hell of a performance on his Genji.
He was the one-man show at the end of this one. Watch him come down. Good target selection here. He's all alone, basically, with this. Oh, this is actually not the last fight. This is actually an earlier one where he shut down the res play.
Still very good by
The one
Architect.
at the end was really good, though. Nearly enough to shove it through.
CONBOX, a rough road for these guys, but still a strong one with much improvement. They were in the promotion tournament in Super Week, had to regain their spot here in Apex Season 3, and sure, they do fall short of making it in the semifinals for this final round of playoffs to try to get their hands on the championship. They can't quite get it, but still much improved, and I look forward to seeing this team moving forward
Absolutely.
in the future Apex seasons. But
So-
on the day, Envious, the Western Hope remains alive, have to rematch against X6, who they lost a 2-3 best of 5 to. Come out on top of Meta Athena 3-1 this time around, and CONBOX Spirit losing 1-3 to Lunatic-Hai.
So the two fan favorites won tonight, and Lunatic-Hai expected to get that semifinals because of the situation with Giannis on Luxury Watch Blue. When we compare the two teams, Lunatic-Hai has shown better flexibility with the player they lost. Who are you? Guido and him play very similar roles, so it's okay. When Luna has to play Winston, obviously it's just a disaster for LW Blue, so we'll see what happens in that semi, but perhaps with this break, Lunatic-Hai survives long enough to get another best of 5 next week, and then maybe, who are you, whatever's going on with him can be repaired, and he will rejoin the team perhaps for semifinals. We're thinking really far ahead when we talk about it like this, but here we go. Envious, of course, will move on to face X6, as you mentioned, for the rematch. They won the rematch against Meta Athena. I've got the momentum back. It was a much better Envious tonight than what we saw last week.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it started off a little bit rocky, but by the end of it, it just kept getting better and better. Effect absolutely destroying on Hanamura. I mean, I'm sure those highlight clips are on the top of the competitive Overwatch subreddit right now. His multi-pulse bombs coming through just so clutch for Envious. But CONBOX Spirit unfortunately falling short, but Lunatic-Hai maybe keeping their hopes alive of making another run into the final to try to retain their championship for 2 seasons in a row, because so far, nobody's done it.
No one's done it. It's never happened yet before. There are several contenders with Envious, of course, here as well. So the next match, of course, when we did double groups for winners and losers, and of course for the starting, but for the final decider matches, we're splitting it up to 1 best of 5 a night. So it's all about the hype for this rematch. That's, of course, going to be on Friday, this very Friday, and our second quarterfinal match, of course, will be the following Tuesday. So very exciting matches coming up. Envious still has 1 hope left to get to the semis. It's all the Envious X6 show. So I actually really like that we break it up this way, because I think it builds a lot of extra tension after we've told the stories of these groups to just have 1 match for the day.
Well, I'm excited to see what happens, because, I mean, Envious, they picked X6. They said that they think that they were going to be the most predictable team. They thought that they knew how they were going to play and that they could take them. They end up losing because X6 surprises them with new strategies. But now that they've played against them, does X6 have more up their sleeve? The Junkrat, something that very much shocked us. But will it surprise Envy again the next time that they square off? So for X6's sake, you have to hope that maybe they have some more tricks that they have not yet shown us. Because if that was their full hand, and Envious could be looking at another victory.
It absolutely could. It was a great night of Overwatch tonight, guys. The 2 fan favorites won, but that's the end of it for us. For myself and Achilles, have a good night.
See you back on Friday for more Apex action.